How about the new intro? You've got to love the work of Mr. Grant Gill and the team here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, constantly finding ways to reinvent the wheel and spruce the intro up. Good evening, everybody. Nice to have your company wherever you're tuning in all around Australia or indeed all around the world. Welcome to our third hit out of Monday Night Motorsport for 2024, and of course our first for the month of February. This is night one of week 3 in term 1 for 2024, season 16 for the club, and all eyes are on the Mugello circuit in Italy. More synonymous, of course, with two-wheel racing going back many years, but we did see a Formula One Grand Prix here during the COVID-impacted and compromised season of 2020. Tonight, it having only recently been uploaded into the iRacing server, is playing host to round 3 of Player One Sim Gear Supercar Racing before we, of course, bring you Waste Options GT3 from over at Oulton Park. So it's a European doubleheader tonight as we get week 3 and February underway. Nice to have you along for the ride. I'm Zach Caban. Adam Lavis is here as well. 25 minutes, the order of the day, the equation for our V8 supercar drivers. And we are bringing you the Super2 split yet again tonight, of course, before we get stuck into next week from Oran Park, and then possibly a combination of the two groups, Super 2, Super 3 thereafter. We're ready to rock and roll. This is going to be a lot of fun because we've got this is the great unknown. This is a new circuit for these drivers. You heard last week that many of them said, we've never been here before. We don't know. We haven't even purchased it yet. We've got to learn it. We've got 7 days to do it. 3:30 in the afternoon is server time. 19 degrees the ambient. Track temperature is 21 degrees. It is the Grand Prix configuration of the Italian circuit. 5.19 kilometres and slight breeze there as well at 8 kilometres an hour. Grid looks like this. We'll have a look at the championship points once we get going here. There they are. Michael Hammond is only 14 points off. Greg Favell at the moment. Will Buchanan third. Tony Baker and also Damien Cairns, the top 5. Leith McClymont, Ryan Tegel. Nick Fodiatis, Jason Spriggs and Michael Fraser round out the top 10. Favell and Joe Mahoney, the front row. Damien Cairns and Jason Spriggs, the second. Then we go back to Leith McClymont, Greg Brooks, Sean Hart, Alex Court, Stephen Varga, Will Buchanan. That's row number 5. Outside the top 10, Michael Fraser, Alan Geel. And then we go back to Chris Stark, Tony Baker, and Nick Fodiatis. Revs rise, cars roar, ready to fire. Monday Night Motorsport from Italy. Let's go! Favell and I start. Couple of cars bogging it down further back. Will Buchanan's lost a truckload of positions. 4 of them, in fact. Stephen Vargas opted to start from pit lane to avoid the potential carnage maybe at turn 1. Down they roll. down the hill for the first time. A clean start, a safe getaway. Spriggs going toe-to-toe with Mahoney. And once again, Greg Favell has missed the jump for the second week in a row. He did this last week, you might remember, you might recall. He lost the jump, and there's Nick Fodiatis pointing in the wrong direction. Jesus, it's been a wretched start of the season for him, hasn't it? Of course, caught up last week as well on the streets of Detroit. This is a fast-flowing, wide-open circuit. It's brilliant for bike racing. It's okay for open wheelers. Let's see how it goes for tin tops. And we've got a few trips here throughout the course of the season, and we're looking forward to them all. Favell in 4th place. Brooks, Court, McClymont, Hart in behind him at the moment. Mahoney leads the way. Spriggs in behind. So Spriggs and Cairns have got ahead of Favell just as they did last week. We ride on board with the championship leader and probably champion-elect, it's fair to say, given how often he has dominated this championship in recent times. Almost Dench-esque, I might say. Through we go. Okay. A black flag. A drive-through penalty. A black flag and a drive-through penalty for car 255. And that was Michael Fraser for contact on lap number 1. And that would be, we assume it would be the incident with Nick Fodiatis. We haven't seen it, though, of course, to verify that. We'll have a look at some replays in just a moment for you, ladies and gentlemen. Across the line we go. Mahoney leads. Marnie or Mahoney, I'm not sure. I'll just go with Mahoney for the moment. Down the inside. Good dive from Alex Court to move up into 5th position ahead of Greg Brooks. Josh Zuno stitching us up royally tonight. Thank you. Appreciate that. Through we go. Have a look at the argy-bargy. The elbows are out. The hip and shoulder is on early. Alex Court getting boxed out of it here, but he's got the inside running for the next corner. Around the outside, Brooks looks to go and fight hard and force the issue. And he does just that. But Court's got the overlap on the exit of the corner. Very nicely done from Alex Court. Having to fight hard early for his track position. So there are a couple of things here that we should address off the top. There is only a small field. It's only 15 deep. That's number one. So the field's about the same as it was this time last week. That is an issue, of course, that is being addressed after we go to Oran Park next week. And we say that fully aware that those that don't normally grace us with their presence early on a Monday night will come out of the woodwork for Oran Park. 2, I think after the news doing the rounds today, anyone that opts to run a Coca-Cola livery in our servers in the next couple of weeks, it'll be viewed as a tribute livery, of a retro livery. And 3, this is one of the great circuits of world motorsport. It's new to iRacing. We love going to new circuits. We don't do it as often these days because obviously there are less new circuits getting uploaded into the server. Back in the day when we first started, everything was new to us. Everything was unfamiliar. The reality of the matter is that it's a great test of these guys and their skill and their character, because we look at a new circuit. Well, it's not new to us. All of us have watched a race from here in the past. But for these guys, the circuit's been available for over a couple of months now. It was part of the pre-Christmas update from iRacing. And that includes in Queensland. Even though you're 112 years behind, you're part of the same upload. Anyway, the reality of the matter is that even though it's been there for such a long period of time, 8 weeks is a long time in sim racing, many of these guys haven't opted to download it until they've absolutely had to. They haven't parted company with the coin. Have a look at Nick Fodiatis on the fight back there, if you don't mind. 2 for the price of 1. Gets by Stephen Varga, gets by Michael Fraser. And Will Buchanan's been in pit lane already. Came in at the end of lap 2. Was stationary for 17.78 seconds. Fraser, of course, I'm not sure if he's already served that drive-through or not. We'll wait and see. In the meantime, here's Spriggs. Under pressure from Favell, who's got by Cairns. And all of that is letting Joe Mahoney rest comfortably and ease into it at the front of the field with a steady gap. Oh, there's the contact. That's why there was the penalty issued.
If Josh is listening, you might want to check the cars. The 255 is one that's 20 out.
True.
Oh,
True.
yeah, Buchanan would have been the one that got the penalties. That's why he's been to the pits.
2-8. Okay, so 281 got the penalty, not 255. Gotcha.
Oh, it's on at the front.
So here we go. So just to make sense of that, and again translating what Zuno dropped at the bottom of the screen there. Favel's gone through to second. I'll come back to that in a moment. I might get Adam Lavis to show us that replay a second time round in a moment. In the meantime, let's go back to the front. So I'm going to come back to the point I was making about Mugello as well in just a sec. What I'm interested in here now is that Mahoney has had it all his own way. Hasn't been under any sort of pressure in the opening 3 laps. Got the whole shot, got the start, jumped on forward. Okay. Okay. Breaking news rider screen. There's a lot going on in this booth tonight. I'm not sure I'm cut out to be here tonight. Double pain for 281 because he actually. Alex caught with a lockup but saved it. Managed to salvage it. But he's under pressure. He's under pressure from Brooksy. Let's stay with this.
You're upset about there being only 15 cars. Are you already having trouble keeping up? What's going on?
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. No, there's just so much happening simultaneously. So, caught under pressure there from Brooks, McClymont and Hart. Come back to that. The 281, because of the fact that it was a drive-through penalty and he stopped in his box, he'll have to still transit the pit lane again. He'll have to go through and serve that again. And Alex Court's tyres are begging for mercy here. He's in all sorts of trouble as they come around onto the main straight. Somehow he's keeping these guys at bay, but how much more strain and stress and pressure can those tyres cop before they give out? Down the main straight we go. Watch for the run from Brooks. Down the outside of Court. If he can hang tough around the outside at 1, he'll be right for 2. Court goes deep. Court goes wide. Kurt goes too deep. And through goes Brooks. The floodgates open. McClymont opts to go with him. Can McClymont hang tough around the outside, put himself on the inside for the next corner? No, he can't. Court got across to cover it off. In behind them is Sean Hart, just with the best seat in the house, biding his time. Waiting for all hell to break loose ahead of him. Meanwhile, these guys have dropped 2.5 seconds to Damien Cairns, who's all over the back of Jason Spriggs, who's all over the back of Greg Favell, and Favell is towing those two along, Spriggs and Cairns, onto the back of Mahoney. So Mahoney got the whole shot. Favell missed the jump. Here's the replay of Favell going down the outside of Spriggs on the run down to turn 1 to go to second position. And a move that was very nicely executed. And what I'm interested in here is that how Mahoney answers the pressure that's about to come his way. Because, as I say, he's just been able to, go about his business in a calm and controlled manner for the last couple of laps. No real sort of pressure on him, because he had that buffer. That buffer's now gone. Favell's all over the back of him. Favell won't be, so no further action for Chris Stark and Tony Baker on lap 4. There's an incident that we haven't seen yet whilst we're analysing everything that's happening at the front. Oh, deep. Look at the tyre smoke blowing there. Through onto the main straight. Mahoney and Favell. Have a look at them. So, already this week we've seen deja vu to last week with Greg Favell missing the start and having to work his way back through, wasting no time, opting to try and go to the front around the outside at turn 1. Will Mahoney be able to keep it tight there on the inside? He's got it covered off anyway, that's okay. Let's hope deja vu doesn't strike twice for Greg Favell. Remember last week he lost this race in the pit stops. He took a little bit too much fuel. He took a bit too much juice. Stayed a little bit more, spent a little bit more time stationary than what he would have otherwise liked to or had to. And if he doesn't do that this week, then it looks like it's his race to lose as of right now. Cairns and Spriggs down the inside. Cairns got Spriggs at turn 1. That's the good thing about this circuit. So we talk about it being an unknown entity because these guys, many of them have held off buying it and learning it until the point where they absolutely have to, by which I mean there's a championship round coming up. They're going to be racing at the venue. If they want to partake in it, they have to buy the circuit, they have to fork out the coin. So it'll be interesting to see how much time they invested into learning the circuit and getting their setups right. We know that Greg Favell was charged with the task of doing that on behalf of the championship, and that was shared with everybody earlier in the weekend. Now, but different horses for courses. Some cars, some drivers don't necessarily agree with circuits as wide and as open as this. But the thing I like about it, Adam Lavis, as you chime in, it's got no shortage, of overtaking opportunities. And here's one about to be presented to Greg Favell onto the main straight. That's the second major lock-up for Mahoney in as many laps.
As the characteristics of this track being wide open and sort of more around motorbike stylings, it's not going to be suited to the V8s with their braking style, because these cars like to brake in a straight line, whereas a lot of these braking zones are still, you're already into the turning phase while you're turning, and these older school V8 supercars, as we've seen tonight, are really prone to locking those front tyres up. So it's going to be a real challenge for these guys to look after those tyres.
That comment right of screen as well, Adam Lavis, is exactly the point I was making. He's only bought the circuit today, Alex Court. Ooh, jeez. Top four, right into it. And what Adam Lavis has said is spot on. Spot on. So don't be surprised if you see a few more tyre lock-ups between now and the end of the race, mate.
It's funny though, because like people say that the fast flowy European circuits don't really suit their supercars, but they always go Greater Phillip Island, which is a fast flowy European style circuit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when it's on the championship calendar, it hasn't been there for a couple of years in the real world, has it? Oh, what a shame. Now, 12 and a half minutes left on the clock. Hello, Kate Eppelston in the central west of New South Wales. Tuning in tonight. In fact, I was only talking to another motor racing friend of ours today, and the great man, Terry Denton, Mr. MRA, because this coming Thursday will begin the 100-day countdown to the 2024 Picture Partners Sydney 300. We're already very much chomping at the bit, very excited for that. Down onto the main straight we come. Mahoney, Favell dives to pit lane. Favell dives to pit lane. Takes cans with him. 7 laps gone. Just past half race distance. Critical point of the race. Joe Mahoney, Jason Spriggs, Alex Court, Leith McClymont, Sean Hart, Greg Brooks, Alan Geel, and Chris Stark and Tony Baker, the top 9 at the moment. Favell, Cairns, Varga and Fraser all on pit road. Buchanan's already been there, and Fodiatis has now opted to go around for another lap just like everybody else. So he goes through ahead of those that have already stopped. The best of those 2 have stopped in terms of track position is Greg Favell. Good news from Kate Eccleston that she'll be at the Sydney 300. Hello to Jared Knight also tuning in as well. I was rattling off some. So just to give everybody an update on my movements and schedule, I don't mind doing this on air. I missed last Thursday night to attend the Ipswich Jets season launch. I had the great privilege of interviewing the Queensland Rugby League CEO and 1995 Maroon player Ben Eichen. That was a lot of fun. This Thursday, I'm out again at this stage because I'll be attending the funeral of the late XL racer Cameron Bartholomew in Redcliffe. We mentioned Cam's passing the night it happened. And then in May, I'll likely sit out the entire week leading it up to and after the Sydney 300 because the Wednesday of that week, I've got to go to Sydney to see my neurosurgeon. He couldn't see me on the Thursday or the Friday morning before I went to the track. So it's an extra trip to Sydney that week, one more than I was planning. And then, of course, on Friday, Saturday, I'm at the Picture Partners Sydney 300. Then, on the back end of that, straight out of the gates on Sunday morning, back to the Hunter Valley to attend a wedding. So it's a very, very busy time of year. Oh, good on you, Nighty. Good to see that you're in consistent form to start the year.
For someone who jumped the start and got a penalty shot at the bat, you did well to get back to 7th though.
True. I bet I missed some frantic and enjoyable Formula V racing though. That's my tip. I haven't. Friday was that busy that I didn't even have a chance to go back and watch it.
We don't want to talk about
that. Okay, copy that. So, all right. So Nighty doesn't want to talk about the Porsches, and you don't want to talk about Formula V. I think I'm piecing it together rather quickly.
Well, to give you an idea, I had a half a second on the field, and the best position I got on I was third, so didn't quite go well.
Copy that. Great to have you covered wherever you're tuning in. Monday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. So yeah, just to give you a bit of an update, there will be a few occasions this season where I am not in action in the commentary box here, and a couple more dates to be added to that now because my services have recently been acquired by the Queensland Production Sports Car Championship. That news went public on Saturday because I emceed their presentation night for last year on Friday night. And they liked what we did, so we're going to rock and roll at the rounds of their championship that I can make it to, considering that I've already been booked for the weekend of their first round at Morgan Park when I'll be heading down to Griffiths. So it's going to be big. It's going to be huge.
But speaking of Thursday, Zach, the one thing you did miss is first time in a long time, Denchi is not leading the championship.
Ooh.
He is 1 point behind Tay on the championship currently.
Now, that's exciting. It's always interesting when, as we see some pit activity here, Alex Court, Greg Brooks and Alan Gell, when we see Denchi up against it, facing some competition. I mean, we all know how it ends. He always finds his way back to the top step of the summit. But just for that little split second where we can say, you know, Denchi's actually got a fight on his hands, it entices a few more people to tune in and watch him go to work on a Thursday night. So here's Mahoney in the lead. McClymont, Hart and Baker still yet to stop. So too Nick Fodiatis. Everybody else has been in at this point. Favell and Cairns sitting 5th and 6th place at the moment. They're only 32 seconds off the lead of Mahoney. And Cairns has punched out the fastest lap of the race, 147.825. Don't get too excited just yet, Ryan, because obviously we've got those last few pit stops still to play out. But yeah, Mahoney, McClymont, Hart and Baker are the current top four as things stand. 7 minutes to go. So what have we got here? This is the end of lap 10. The laps have been around about 1:50 apiece so far tonight. And there's exactly another example of what Adam Lavis was talking about a few moments ago. Up onto the main straight. Is this the lap in which we see Mahoney come to pit lane? Yes, it is. So Mahoney into the lane. Most likely will bring Hart, Baker and McClymont with him. Actually, no, McClymont's going on. McClymont wants to lead a lap and will do so. McClymont leads a lap. 6.5 minutes to go. Now, I just want to keep an eye on this. When Greg Favell comes across the start-finish line, Adam, let me have a look at where he is in regards to that clock on the screen there. At 1:50 a lap, what's that, 5.5? So if he gets back across the line, which he does now, it's 4 laps from here. It's 4 laps from here for Greg Favell. Because he'll get back with about 35, 36 seconds on the clock.
Mahoney's taken 4 seconds more fuel than everybody else.
Oh, jeez. Come on, Joe. What have you done? He's done exactly what Greg did last week, is what he's done. No such mistake from Favell tonight, which is good to see. Couple of stop and hold, Stephen Varga and Alex Court, and also Jason Spriggs. There's a talking point that we missed. 51, 50 and 50 seconds respectively. We'll have to find out what the bloody hell's going on there for those three gentlemen. 3 drivers in a 15-car field caught out by the old iRacing stop and hold. That's unfortunate. That's unlucky. That's iRacing. Yes. So, it's interesting, isn't it? You look at the form guide, and it somewhat reads true. Even though it's a new circuit, even though everybody's had to go through the same process of learning the car, getting a setup, etc., the cream still rises to the top. There are a few occasions where that doesn't happen, but very rarely in these servers on these platforms. Oulton Park, the venue for GT3. A little bit later on, we'll be starting with race 1 of the AM split, bringing you race 2 of the Pro split. And we look forward to that. In comes McClymont, in comes Hart at the end of lap 11. 3 to go. And a little bit of overtime to boot. Chris Stark, unstuck. Keep it together, Starkey. That wasn't too bad, actually, to be fair. Not too bad at all. Hart comes back out in 5th place on the subject of tribute liveries. Is that the old 00 Motorsport? Yes, it is. There it is. Iconic in every sense of the word. Love it. Big night here on these platforms. They all are at this time of the year. The early stages.
Apparently it's a road car. He's even got a number plate.
Yes, that's very clever.
No, it's an XR8 Fairlane. Never seen one of those before.
No?
Luxury model.
Very much so. Getting a little bit creative, aren't we, with our... Love it. So, Favell, and then Cairns, Mahoney, McClymont, Hart, Brooks, Geel, Baker, Stark, and Fraser. Movers and shakers of the night.
Yeah, it looks like Nick is also joining the pit entry situation.
Yep, and that will just top him off quietly, just nicely, unfortunately, because we know how much Nick prides himself. It's one of the things that he lives by. It's like a mantra for him. Practice your pit entry. How many times have we heard him say that over the course of the last 4 years, and he's fallen on his own sword?
I think what's caught a few people out is the yellow cone is actually before the pit wall. So it's actually on the lane into the pit lane rather than being after the actual entrance. So it's just a little earlier than some people might be expecting.
Favell, Cairns, Mahoney, McClymont, Hart, Brooks, Geel, Baker, and Stark, the top 9. Fraser is 10th. The movers and shakers tonight. Nick's gained nothing. He's where he started. Stephen Varga down 5 spots. Will Buchanan down 3. Alex Court down 4. And Jason Spriggs down 7. As far as the pluses are concerned, 1 for Michael Fraser, 4 for Chris Stark. Tony Baker with 6 positions gained is the best of the lot. 5 for Alan Geel. 2 for Sean Hart. McClymont with 1. Cairns with 1. Mahoney with -1. Brooks and Favell. The 2 Gregs remain where they started, 1st and 6th respectively. So just 3 drivers in the field remain exactly where they started. The top, the middle, and the toe. We're on lap 13, a lap and a half to go. And Greg Favell will see the white flag next time by the line. That's if iRacing actually put Barney on the track for their new build here. We'll wait and see. Good effort from Tony Baker. Up 6 spots. It helps that a few have fallen foul of iRacing rules and the like around him. And, of course, Will Buchanan's had 2 runs down pit lane. Actually, Buchanan would want to be careful there because no one went further than 11 laps on a full tank. And to get to the line, even with that second run through pit lane, he's got to go a 12-lap stint. Main straight, white flag. Let's go one more time around for Greg Favell. By no means a comfortable and commanding win tonight, but just enough to have the pressure off his back here. 2 seconds to the good on Damien Cairns. Joe Mahoney in 3rd, a case of what might have been with that extra fuel on board. And then Leith McClymont has got up into 4th place. Whoa! Stand on the gas, slide and smoke and skid for Greg Favell. He nearly threw it down the road.
Turn 3 out of 15 is a little early to start the celebrations.
I would have thought so. Through we go. Right, left. Oh. And this is exactly the point that Josh Zuno was making. That margin has skittled down to 1.3 seconds, 1.2 now. Damien Cairns is closing in. Favel's throwing it all over the place. The tyres have really fallen out of the Commodore here. And it's resulted in him doing a little bit of, well, I can't really say lawnmower and whippersnipping because he's in the sand. He's in the gravel. And he's been there more than once on this final lap. The margin is 1 second. He just needs to get through the last couple of corners unscathed. And when he does, Greg Favel will restore order in the Player One Sim Gear Super 2 Series. Last turn, checkered flag, up onto the main straight. Favel has victory again. Second will go to Cairns. It's a 1-2. Third to Mahoney. There's Punt doing his job. Good boy. A little bit of a different method of waving the flag as well compared to what we've been used to from him. He's getting a little bit fancy with it. Very well done. McClymont in fourth. That's a great result. Sean Hart in fifth. Then Greg Brooks, Alan Geel, Tony Baker, Chris Stark, Michael Fraser, Jason Spriggs, Alex Court, Stephen Varga, Nick Fodiatis and Will Buchanan. 15 start, 15 home. But the field very well spread out in the end. It was intense. It was fierce early in the piece. The elbows were out. And the pace was hot. A couple of mistakes. One major incident that involved Will Buchanan, of course, and I want to see another replay of that. And, of course, those four drivers that fell foul of the stop and hold on iRacing's pit lane here. That was the difference between having a competitive showing at the end and not. There was the incident. Yeah, that was telling. Poor old Nick had to sacrifice himself. Tried to get on the brake to get out of it, get on the anchor, and it ended up sending him around. So that's why Buchanan copped the penalty on Fraser. There you go, small world. David Kirby. Will Buchanan's dating young junior Miss Kirby. Very nice. Small world indeed. The iRacing family extends beyond the walls of the virtual cockpit. Have a look at that. That is interesting. That David wanted to see a replay of that, and we got it to him right on cue, and that will no doubt be dinner discussion next time young Will pays Mr. and Mrs. Kirby a visit. There are the results. 1.1 the margin in the end. Favel. I'll be interested to get the comments from the drivers with regards to the tyres around here, because it looked like Favel was really, really fighting that car to the end. Cairns, Mahoney, the Accelerate Sim Racing squad go 1-2. Mahoney, McClymont, that's a great result for him. Then Sean Hart, Greg Brooks, Alan Geel, Tony Baker, Chris Stark, and Michael Fraser. Good race that. Order restored for Greg Favel. And well done too to Damien Cairns, backing up the podium finishes of the last couple of weeks. Replay for you on screen here. We've got about we might get very close to showing you the full race replay here, folks. It's only 25 minutes now until the start for GT3. We'll have a couple of drivers come in and say good day to us, hopefully in just a few moments. But before they do, a reminder of what's coming your way, and a reminder of why we're able to do this, ladies and gentlemen. A big thanks to all the great people at Waste Options, Sprayton Insiders, Player One Sim Gear, also Lobesy Racing, M-Wave Australia, and Flash Graphics for their continued ongoing support on the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Without them, we would not be able to be here and broadcast this racing for you each Monday and Thursday. Waste Options GT3 coming up very shortly, and of course, this is Player One Sim Gear Super 2. Oran Park, the next stop for the championship, and as far as Thursday night motorsport is concerned this week, Formula V from Brands Hatch, which will be very, very good. Then Porsche Sprint Cup racing from the Porsche from the Sonoma Raceway, I should say, in California. So It's a European, North American doubleheader for you on Thursday night. I'm actually a little bit disappointed about missing Brands Hatch, because if it's the Indy configuration, it'll be absolutely magnificent for Formula V. But yeah, there's no way I'm missing the send-off for Cam Bartholomew. There's no doubt about that. Now, no drivers in here yet to have a chat to us. That will hopefully change in the next couple of minutes. But reminder, standard procedure, we will bring you the AM split first, the Pro split second, race 1, race 2 of the sprint round from Oulton Park. That's going to be interesting in a manner of speaking, because we know what Oulton Park's like for overtaking. Difficulty level set to extreme. It will not be easy. And yet we've got an invert of the top 10 for race 2. So the likes of Denchi, etc., are going to be fighting their way through. And Jared Knight as well. Can't wait to see what unfolds there when we get to race 2 from Oulton Park very shortly. Nothing to go around the grounds with tonight either, because the tennis is wrapped up, the cricket's wrapped up. Australia and the West Indies play a third one-day international tomorrow, and of course the second one-day international for the women on Wednesday from the North Sydney Oval. So I'm at a loss as to what to tell you. Just the one incident for race control to review there and hand out a penalty for. So that gave you an idea as to how clean it was. But Adam Lavis, now that we've had our first showing of Mugello, I think there's a lot of people that are going to be watching that with interest with regards to when their own respective championships and categories make their way here later throughout the season.
Yeah, we've got GT3s coming in a couple of weeks, so that'll be interesting. This is probably a track more suited to their style of driving. And I believe the Wednesday night guys and maybe the Friday night, but unfortunately Thursday night says no Mugello on the current schedule. But yeah, so we should see it a few times for the rest of the season. And it is one of those tracks. Like it's just a great fun track to drive. Like it's a lot of fast flowing, technical, good for racing. If you just got to sort of set your moves up and try and get your opponent offline and maximize your run to the next big sequence of corners.
Indeed. Happy to report as well, ladies and gentlemen, that new TCR recruit Ryan Casher is going to be my special guest on radio this Saturday morning. I'm doing the interview tomorrow. So if you like Ryan Casher, you like TCR, tune in Saturday morning before they go racing at Sandown. He'll be first cab off the rank on the show this week, and I'm looking forward to that. Now, if no one's coming in for a chat, Adam Lavis, we may as well take a break. And we'll do that with one thing in mind, and that is that we'll be able to actually go and show you some of the GT3 qualifying action from the AM split, which will be getting underway at about 8:30. And then, of course, the Pro split, we won't be able to bring you their qualifying session because we'll be setting up in the AM split for race 1. But yes, qualifying getting underway. There'll be a 5-minute turnaround intermission for us between the end of race 1 in AM and the start of race 2 in Pro, just so that we can get ourselves from one server to the other. Hope you're enjoying what is Monday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. This is night 1 of term 1 and the third week thereof. And it continues for you on the other side of this short break as we take you from Mugello and the supercars, where Greg Favel's done it again, across to the Oulton Park circuit in the United Kingdom and our coverage of GT3. And when we come back from the break, we'll also bring you up to speed with the results from Super 3 as well. And we'll also have a look at the championship standings in both GT3 AM and Pro. Hope you can stay with us. Waste Options GT3 time for you here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club as Monday Night Motorsport continues on for this Monday, the 5th of February 2024, or 1912 if you're tuning in Queensland. Nice to have you along for the ride. It's the second leg of a triple header tonight because you get two GT3 splits for the price of one. We go sprint racing tonight from Oulton Park in England. And the European flavour of the night continues now with the AM Series first up for their, it'll be a 21-minute affair, and then, of course, on to the Pro Split for a 37-minute feature. I'm Zach Caban. Adam Lavis is here alongside me as well. A couple of faces and names and voices have been gone, come and went, but right now I'm happy to say that on the back of the Super 3 split and also the Super 2 race from Mugello, three guys have dropped on by to have a chat to us. They are Brendan Griffiths, Aidan Schultz and Chris Stark. And we might bring up the results of the Super 3 race, if we can, please, Adam Lavis, when we get to Schultz and Griffo. There they are, 1 and 2 across the line with 3/5 of FA separating them at the finish line, which is just how we like our car racing. Aaron Bryan was there in third as well, giving them a good tap along and tag along. Adam Proctor, Blake Fitzpatrick, Troy Davidson, Dale Jeffries, Reece Dickerson and James Boardman, with Gary Wellman making up the top 10. The field evenly spread out throughout the positions beyond the top 6 there. Only really not too many battles to speak of beyond that top 6, but there were 2 really fierce battles within the top half dozen. Before I go to the Super 3 boys, Chris Stark, good evening to you. Welcome. Well done on your own performance. Interesting race, but it was a track that you selected as we were putting the calendar together. I don't think it's a bad track, Starkey, but by gee, the Dunlop tyres, we'll be happy to see the back of it.
Oh, it's tough. There's no doubt about it. The fast boys at the front, the only time they went any slower than a 49 was the first lap and then their out lap from the pit. Just absolutely machines, a lot of them. They were flying. A couple of the fast boys had a bad ending. I think they must have messed up their pits somehow because Jason Spriggs, who was super quick, he finished in 11th. Alex Court again, Stephen Varga, who are normally really quick, 12th and 13th.
Yeah, no less than 4 drivers got caught out of in the field of 15, Starkey, with that pit lane penalty. So
I thought I was going to get one. I don't know if you saw my pit entrance.
No.
I did a 360-degree spin as I was entering because I didn't realise it was that close to the track, and I've locked it up, spun around, took out the cone, done a U-turn, took out the 60k sign, and still didn't get a pit lane entry penalty.
No further action in your incident with Tony Baker either, so penalty-free run for you tonight. In saying that, onwards and upwards, back on familiar territory next week as we go to Oran Park, mate.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Oran Park, but I'll do my best. Yeah, it's good fun. Judging by the speed of these boys, I'm either too old or need more time in the seat.
I would hazard a guess that it's probably the latter, not the former.
Bit of both.
Maybe, but no, let's go with the latter. Bit more time in the seat, and hopefully you find time for that, but I know how busy a boy you are. I'll rock and roll out of here because we've got to get the GT3 in just a few moments, mate, but thank you. Well done.
Thanks for the boys.
Looking forward to seeing what you bring to the table next week, and hopefully as well after that there'll be a discussion had about whether we combine the splits or leave it as it is. But to be fair, Starkey, I mean, there were 2 factors that really spread that race out tonight, and that was the 2 incidents that we mentioned, the one at the start for Will Buchanan, the one at the midpoint of the race for you and Tony Baker. But the other main reason for the field being as spread as it was that those 4 50-second or 30-second stop and holds, whatever they were, in pit lane, 30-40 seconds. So
Griffith didn't win by that much this time, Zach. He only won by 1.1 seconds.
That's right. The racing was better than I was somewhat anticipating with only 15 cars. So a good sign that you need quality over quantity sometimes.
Yeah, it was tough, that's for sure. And I hope the Super 3s did all right.
We're going to find out about that now. Thank you, Starkey. Well done. Aidan Schultz and Brandon Griffiths. Geez, you two rock and roll by the look of that. Schultzy, well done on the win.
Yeah, thank you, mate. We had 18 cars in it. It was really good. Good racing by the boys.
And you're going to be burning from the stern in the GT3s in just a few moments' time, which I'll be interested to get your thoughts on. But before all of that, and it's a solid field for GT3 AM tonight, ladies and gentlemen, in excess of 30 cars lining up on the grid, including Christopher McDonald. I'm not sure if it's the bloke of Happy Gilmore fame or not. But yes, he's in the server. Aiden Schultz is in there as well, so too Tristan Koch, but they haven't set a time yet. We're not expecting Schultz to do so, as he's here chatting to us. Burn from the stern on a track that's notoriously difficult for overtaking your game. In saying that, though, Mugello, obviously, it suits you. You've gone straight to the top, grabbed the W. It's an interesting circuit, hard on tyres. Maybe not necessarily the greatest track for supercars, but you know, everyone's in the same boat.
No, I enjoyed it, mate. I bought it this afternoon. I didn't actually own it. So I bought it this afternoon, had a trundle, and come into the round leading the championship, and we've come out of it extending the championship lead. So that's really good. It was good racing by all the boys. It always is in the Super 3. They're really good. I don't know where the times are coming from the Super 2, because I was running a setup that was shared. So from the guy that won Super 2. But
Yes.
It was great racing, mate. Really great racing, and I'm just happy to come away with the win and to extend that championship lead. And now we're leading, I think, two or three of the GSRC leagues at the moment. So happy with that.
Just cleaning us out at the moment, Schultzy. Very nicely done. Interesting too, because you mentioned that you're enjoying Super 3. If you keep winning, though, there might be discussion had about bumping you up into Super 2, but not with the pace difference. If what you're saying is right there, we know that Greg Favell, A, yes, very good sportsman in the way that he was able to share his setup, but B, just because the setup works for him doesn't necessarily mean it works for anybody else. What are your thoughts on Oran Park, mate?
Hey, Oran Park's a great track. It's obviously Australia, so great track, but we're about to go into Oulton Park. Sorry, not Oran Park.
No, I am asking you about next week in Supercars.
Oh, yeah, Oran Park, yeah, all good.
Yeah, okay.
We'll be there or thereabouts. You know how I operate. So now I've got a championship lead. I'll just sit there and I don't care whether I come fourth or fifth or whatever. I'll just try and get the points, mate. That's what it's about.
You have got a target on your back, let's be perfectly honest, with regards to next week being the championship leader, and also the element of potential, cameo appearances from those that'll turn up just because it's Oran Park, Schultzy.
Yeah, it's all right, mate. At the end of the day, we'll just go out and have some fun, and that's what it's all about, and we'll see how we end up. Oran Park, though, not sure I'll be that quick, but, at the end of the day, you just don't know. So it's all about just managing your race car, managing your race, and even if you're not quick on a particular track, just trying to get the points you can and go into the next round. So that's what I've done all season, and that's what I'll continue to do, and that's how you win championships. Now,
Oulton Park, what can you do with the Ferrari around here in race 1 to potentially put yourself in an invert situation for race 2? If not, just put yourself in a position to continue pushing forward.
Mate, I've got no idea, because I haven't even chucked a lap yet. So when I go into the race, it'll be the first lap that I've done. So it'll just be navigating around and just trying to, like, going from a supercar into a GT3 car is totally different. So just trying to navigate myself around, and race 1 will just be about getting myself sort of familiar with the car again. We're coming off a Daytona 24-hour third place and back-to-back championships before that as well, back-to-back Daytona 24-hour wins in the GT3. So definitely okay in the GT3, but this is next level, man. These guys are really good. So we'll just go out, we'll just navigate, and use it as a little bit of a practice session for race 1, and if we can make some spots, we will, and then if we go into race 2 and we can make some more, that'll be good. But it's all about the competition, mate, and we'll just be out there and have a go.
All right, thank you, mate. Go and focus on that, and we'll talk to you at the end.
No worries. Have a good night, boys.
And Schultzy loves a chat, so we've got about 45 seconds here to have a chat to Brandon Griffiths. You may have noticed a comment there from Jody Baldwin, of course, the alias of GSRC Club President Joe Baldwin. He gets stitched up by that every time. Chimes in, comments on the stream, and it's in the better half's name. Good on you, trucker. Nice to have you on board. Brandon Griffiths, well done on second. Just got to find a little bit of something to try and, dethroned the current championship leader.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate because we qualified pole and had a really good Shockworks car in the Falcon. And we just made one error at the start of the race, which caused a slowdown and popped me back to fourth. And they're just trying to battle the other two guys, fourth and third, or third and second, to get back to Schultzy. Just deemed my downfall tonight.
Indeed. What are you got to do to turn that around when we get to Oran Park, mate? And quickly, what were your thoughts on Mugello?
I just got to cut down those little mistakes that I've been making over the last couple of weeks, because we've had really good car pace the last 3 weeks and just haven't capitalised on it. Oran Park, I'm interested to see how that goes. Watched it as a kid, but we'll see how we go there.
All right, mate. I'd love to stay longer, but we've got cars on the grid, so go well for the rest of the night. Good luck.
All good. Cheers, mate.
And good luck next week at Oran Park as well. There he is, Brandon Griffiths. Let's rock and roll here and have a look at the the lay of the land as far as the M split is concerned. We'll get to the grid in just a moment. There's the circuit. 4.29 kilometres, really tight, narrow circuit. It is the middle of England, we know that. Server time 12:01 in the afternoon, so 11 hours behind Australian Eastern Daylight Time. That would mean it would be an 11 o'clock start if it was transiting to the real world time difference, but not the case. 11 kilometre an hour winds, 18 degrees the ambient and track temperature at the moment, February 5, 2024. The grid. Aidan Luthwaite, there's a new name for you. Sean Benici, front row. Scott Wooden, Jermaine Takalou, second row. Jackson Dial, and also Adam Chiplin, third row. Dale Sharp, Braden O'Loughlin, fourth row. Kevin Coleman and William Yarwood from row 5. Row 6 is where you'll find Dean Eldridge and Jordan Ferguson. Row 7, Scott Jordanson, and also Rick Jones. Row 8, Benjamin Lavender and Bobby Camo. Then 9th row is where you're going to find Christopher McDonald and also Jake Karlovsky. Robert McGrath and Michael Edwards from row 10. Matthew George, Philip Bartlow, Liam Amos, Adam Hennessy, Philip Clark, Pete Matson, Jack Anderson, James Boardman, Adam Johnson, Adam Tice, Tristan Koch, Michael Schroeder, Aidan Schultz, and Warren Ibert make up the 34-car field. Jack Anderson has opted to start from pit lane. Everybody else will greet the starter in just a few moments' time as the safety car is about to take off. Adam Lavis, this is an interesting track selection, particularly for invert racing, because the boys are going to have to work really hard for track position tonight.
Indeed, it's tight, twisty, bumpy, undulating, all those fun European things that Joe likes to complain about. So it should be good, should be interesting, very easy to make a mistake here, and the grass is extremely unforgiving.
Indeed it is. Ready to fire. Monday Night Motorsport, race 2 of 3 in the program. At the end of the second race for the Pro Split, we'll bring you the results of the second race for the AM Split as well. Make sure you stick with us. Post-race show and all that jazz coming up as well. We're excited. We're pumped. We're ready to go. Onto the main straight they'll come. Aidan Luthwaite will lead the field to green. Let's go to work. Great start on the inside as they run down towards the first corner from Jermaine Takalou. The Audi's already up 2 spots on the run to turn 1. Takalou got past Benici and Wooden as they make their way down the hill for the first time. Jack Anderson joins the race from the back of the field. A full field of 34. Diving deep into the left-hander that takes them onto the outfield section of the circuit. That long, fast-flowing left-hander down to the hairpin. One of the tighter, slower corners on the racetrack. Good start, Luthwaite. Converted pole nicely. We've got 1, 2, 3 Audis in the top 10. We've got 2 Lambos. We've got 4 Bimmers and a Porsche at the moment. Outside that, you've also got Ferrari represented in the field. We've got Mercedes represented in the field through Christopher McDonald, Pete Matson, and James Boardman. No love for the Ford, no love for the McLaren in this server tonight. Luthwaite, 1.1 clear to Takalou. Good start from Jermaine. Benici, Wooden, Chiplin, and O'Loughlin. Grant says he's missing the car sounds. I can hear them loud and clear. Main straight, one lap gone. It's a 21-minute race around Oulton Park. Just wondering what that means for the lap counter, Adam Lavis. You might be able to help me out there. Probably 14, am I right? Bingo. Spot on. Luthwaite, Takalu, Benici, 1, 2, and 3. BMW leads Audi, leads Lamborghini. Oh. Jackson Dial doing a little bit of whippersnipping on the exit of the hairpin at the back of the circuit. Uh-oh, trouble. Down towards the hairpin. Adam Hennessy's in trouble, and with him the car in 31st, Warren Ibert. Jack Anderson's gamble to start from the back of the grid already starting to pay off. Up to 30th. He was only meant to start 27th anyway. No harm, no foul. Maybe perhaps anticipating a little bit more carnage than what he saw and what we've had.
Oh, Hennessy's already had a pre-wing failure.
Oh, Hennessy gone. Yeah, okay. So there were a couple of cars involved in that, but they were isolated incidents. So Luthwaite,
Oh, there's where Hennessy lost the
Benici,
thing.
Takalu. Yep.
It's the big, big congestion in the chicane.
Yep. Everybody getting checked up, balked up. Yep. Michael Edwards in 19th place at the moment.
For some of the liveries and colours, the twofold. A, I think treating paints as being a little silly because some liveries aren't loading, and B, I'm pretty sure there's at least probably almost 10 new guys in the year and haven't had a chance to get their colours set. So some of the colours want to line up, but we'll get by.
So Luthwaite, 132.665, the fastest lap of the motor race thus far. BMW leads Lamborghini, then two Audis, Takalu and Wooden. Chiplin in the next to the BMWs is fifth. Then the first of the Porsches, Braden O'Loughlin in sixth place. Dale Sharp running eighth, William Yarwood running ninth. Consistent performers, both of them. O'Loughlin down the inside of Chiplin. O'Loughlin to fifth. And off track goes Takalu very momentarily. Very briefly on the exit of turn one. Gathered it up, didn't lose too much ground. Did lose out to Sean Benici. But that's it. So the battle for second now on in earnest. As is the battle for fifth, sixth and seventh here, because you've got Adam Chiplin all over the back of Jackson Dial. So not only did O'Loughlin get by Chiplin, but Dial did as well. Lap 4 of 14 at Oulton Park. Here's a replay. This is Jack Anderson after taking a stab and a gamble and a punt with starting from pit lane. He's brought himself unstuck down there at the last corner. Through we go once more. Dial. Oh, that was very nicely done. Forcing his way through on the inside of O'Loughlin to go into fifth place, and O'Loughlin immediately trying to respond. Can't get it done. O'Loughlin back into sixth place now. So all that hard work to get to fifth in the first place, undone by the hard charging Audi. So it's Audi's 3, 4 and 5 at the moment. Finally, the Audi's starting to come to the fore. on a Monday night. It was the discussion point over the summer. It was the centre point of a lot of focus and a lot of hype, what the Audi would do in this championship. The new drop from iRacing. The answer so far has been nothing, to write home about, really, in fairness. Maybe they're going to try and change the narrative around tonight. Takaloo, Wooden and Dial, 3, 4 and 5.
So the interesting thing is here tonight, all the wide there from now. So
under pressure now from O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin trying to get by Adam Lavis. Will stick with this. O'Loughlin on the outside, Dial the inside. O'Loughlin wants to go deep and dive. And, got it done. Very nicely done from Braden O'Loughlin.
What's going to be interesting about tonight is there was already a few guys in the end that were right in the bubble to get promoted. And we also have an influx of new drivers in tonight. So a lot of the people we see on the grid in this race tonight, we might see next week in the Pro Split running with the big guys. So this grid's a little bit shaken up with a bit of talent pool, but we'll see how things go, and we'll see who meets the criteria to go race with Denchi and the likes next week. I'm pretty sure Hayden is going to be one of those people who moves up. He is blitzing him.
Yep.
Sean's one of the ones who's on the bubble, and he's already a bit behind. Now these guys are going to be careful too, because it's very easy to get some off tracks around this circuit, and they only have, I think, sprint racing with them. I think they got 15 or 17 to play with, so they might want to just keep that in mind, because they will rack up fast around here. Especially in turn 1, for example.
Luthwaite the leader, Benici second, Takaloo third, Wooden fourth, O'Loughlin, Dial, Chiplin, Sharp and Yarwood with Coleman in 10th place. Coleman sitting there in the Lambo. One of two in the top 10. Whoa, trouble on the grass. Robert McGrath in behind Rick Jones, but it was Michael Edwards that was on the grass and all over the place. I think you'll find maybe him or Scott Jordanson, actually, more to the point. Scott Jordanson it was. Have a look at him. That purple and orange car still going thoroughly backwards, down into 20th now. Luthwaite, Benici, Takaloo, Wooden, O'Loughlin, Dial, Chiplin, Sharp, Yarwood, Coleman, Ferguson. Jordan Ferguson in 11th place with the English flag next to the name as well. So we've got an Australian flag next to a lot of our drivers. We've got a New Zealand flag next to O'Loughlin. We've got a US flag next to Sean Benici. I'm not sure what the flag is next to Robert McGrath. Something over in Southeast Asia, is it not? The flag next to Robert McGrath. And then you've got the English flag next to Jordan Ferguson. So if ever you needed any more convincing that we're going international, look no further than the calibre of the drivers and the nations they're representing in the GT3 field at the moment. Rick Jones, 15th. We're on lap 7, so almost half race distance. Now, there's a big story brewing on the situation that I was talking about earlier with regards to supercars. Whoa, Rick Jones, the up and under trick here. Rick Jones slots back into 16th as McGrath goes through into 15th. Nicely done. Yeah. Keep your eyes peeled, ladies and gentlemen, because I know a lot of you have been following the Brody Kostecki story with interest. It's about to get a lot more interesting because there's been some screenshots doing the rounds just in the last 20 minutes. If you don't follow the podcast Not DSO on Facebook, it's worth it, let me tell you. Give him a follow. But he's showing screenshots that have both removed both the Erebus drivers from last year from the championship drivers championship point standings. Both Will Brown and of course Brody Kostecki. which now shows that Shane Van Gisbergen is champion ahead of Brock Feeney, ahead of Chaz Mostert, Cam Waters, Andre Heimgartner. And no sign of either Erebus driver anywhere. So that is a huge story in Australian motorsport at the moment. It's only been getting bigger the more it's been brewing. Keep your eyes peeled on that. Go and have a look at the Supercars website or the app. Oh,
Rick Jones. Rick Jones.
Yeah, Robert McGrath.
That's Rick Jones.
And Rick Jones. So trouble there. And Rick Jones bites the dust. Back to 20th now. We'll have another look at that. But yeah, so whatever it is, have a look at it and keep your eyes peeled, because there's going to be some big news drop, no doubt, before the season gets underway. Rick Jones with a massive spin and lock, caught the grass, could not regather it from there. He was just a passenger from the second he caught the grass, as is so often the case. And that was one of the points that Adam Lavis made as the cars were heading towards the green flag. So just having a look around for the battles on the racetrack at the moment. O'Loughlin still under pressure from Dial. Adam Chiplin, Dale Sharp, William Yarwood. And then this battle, Kevin Coleman, Jordan Ferguson, Dean Eldridge, and Christopher McDonald. As far as movers and shakers are concerned, Michael Schroeder up 15 spots. Our mate Aidan Schultz, unfortunately, down in pit lane -1. And going no further, he's parked up and retired on lap number 4. If you're looking for those screenshots, yeah, Facebook page, the podcast, not DSO. The podcast, not DSO. And DSO is all one word. There's no dots or abbreviations or anything. It's the podcast, not DSO. Have a look at that. And I'll no doubt be seeking royalties from the podcast DSO for the amount of new likes they might get in the next hour from GSRC listeners and viewers. We're on lap 10. We're about to start lap 11. Aidan Luthwaite, Sean Benici, Jermaine Takaloo, Scott Wooden, Braden O'Loughlin, Jackson Dial, Adam Chiplin, Dale Sharp, William Yarwood, Kevin Coleman, the top 10. You're watching Christopher McDonald on screen in car number 34 in 13th place at the moment. We now go back to pick up Michael Schroeder all over the back of Michael Edwards. The battle between the Audi and the Porsche. So those three battles that we've picked on, Chiplin, Sharp, Yarwood, and then Coleman, Ferguson, Eldridge, McDonald, and this one, Edwards and Schroeder, are the only three on the racetrack, really. And that's trademark Oulton Park, isn't it? The field, through fear or favour, ends up spreading out rather quickly. Obviously, the amount of attrition can be attributed to that, and also, of course, the incidents and the damage. So Robert McGrath still on pit lane, has been for 40 seconds. Scott Jordanson is out, back out on the racetrack, but a lap down. So too Warren Ivett and Adam Hennessy. Jack Anderson is now a lap down as well. Bobby Camo will be, is now a lap down too. Adam Johnson will be the next one to go a lap down as Aidan Luthwaite starts lap 11. This and 3 more to go. Oh, trouble. Car pointing in the wrong direction. Braden O'Loughlin. As soon as I saw it, I had that sneaky suspicion that O'Loughlin's fortune had come to an end. His luck had run out. Or did he get some help? Loving the interaction and the comments on socials tonight. We are live across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube as per usual. And that's Adam Hennessy getting back onto the black stuff without too much disturbance or interruption or fuss. But unfortunately, that's where it all ended for him. And there was an innocent bystander who collected him on the way through as well. Here's Jackson Dial. Uh-oh. Went for the deep dive down the inside. Trouble. Yep, Dial will have an invoice to pay on that one, I would imagine. Pete Matson showing off the road at the moment, but has got back on. He's down in 25th place at the moment. He is the last but one of those on the lead lap. Matthew George, the next one to go a lap down here. Aidan Luthwaite leads Sean Benici, Jermaine Tacklew. We're watching Dale Sharp at the moment in 7th place. William Yarwood in 8th, Kevin Coleman, Jordan Ferguson 9 and 10, Dean Eldridge, Christopher McDonald, Braden O'Loughlin, Jake Karlovsky, and Michael Schroeder. Now, as far as movers and shakers are concerned, Aidan Luthwaite 132.242, fastest lap of the race. Positions lost: Scott Jordanson down 20, Robert McGrath down 12, Bobby Camo down 12. As far as the positives, the green boxes are concerned, Tristan Kosh, Adam Tice up 8, James Boardman up 7. Michael Schroeder up 17, leaves everybody else in the rear-view mirror as far as positions gained are concerned. Well, up 12 of 14.
It's interesting how much the field is spread out. It's only this little gap here is sort of like the only real close-knit battle here, these 4 cars. Everyone else sort of spread out a little bit. Oh, Adam Johnson's at a moment.
He has indeed, and is limping through the kitty litter.
This is a lap of 4.
That seems really weird.
Oh, you might be just letting people
Really
by.
bizarre.
Inside, maybe.
Wait for it.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep, there it is. Every time it's the tyres. If you lose the front end at Oulton Park, 9 times out of 10, it's the tyres.
Jackson Dale's in the lane. After that'll be his drive-through, I'm assuming.
Copy that. Lap 13 of 14. We're about a lap and a half from home now. Race 1 for the AM split from Oulton Park in England. Round 3. Waste Options GT3. Monday Night Motorsport across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. The platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Adam Chiplin going along nicely.
Oh, it's McGrath done the same thing as Adam.
Sarah Luthwaite chiming in on the comments and pointing out the obvious. There's Robert McGrath looping it around. I tell you what, that is one of the more impressive liveries we've got, isn't it? The smoking hot red Ferrari colour with a tinge of yellow in there just for good measure, just to grab my attention. Well done, Robert McGrath. Yep, easy win for not easy, but comfortable.
Here's what I was saying. Like this is his
1.67 seconds.
It's his first race in the club, so everyone starts in the AM split with GT3, and then once we get got some data to show what his pace truly is, and clearly it's pretty good, he'll be most likely promoted up with the big boys next week. Not be as easy, because there'll be a few guys in there that would like to also win.
Exactly. And we know the further up the chain you climb, the further up the ranks you go, the harder it is to find those W's, those top 10s, those top 5s, those podiums.
We've also seen it's also been funny too. Like some guys, we've had a few guys in the past who've been very tentative about moving up, and then when we do finally put them up, then they're straight to the top 10 because they actually paces better than they actually gave themselves credit for. So final lap down to the final chicane. Sean's done well here to try and close the gap back down, but unless Aiden makes a mistake here, that's not quite big enough, but it looks like he should be able to hold on and get a maiden victory.
What a victory it will be as well. Hayden Luthwaite, BMW power. We know what BMW is doing in the Pro Split at the moment, but the AM Split had been a story of, Lambos and Audis and Porsches. And now all of a sudden BMW is here to fight as well. It's fighting through the form of Hayden Luthwaite, main straight, checkered flag, maiden start, maiden win. How about that? Geez, he made that look easy. 1.68 seconds ahead of Sean Benici. That's by no means a comfortable margin, or a commanding margin, but he was certainly not under any sort of pressure in the closing stages there. Very nicely done. Jermaine Tacklew third. Scott Wooden, Adam Chiplin led home. Dale Sharp, William Yarwood. Again, no real pressure in the end there. Kevin Coleman, Jordan Ferguson, Dean Eldridge edges out Christopher McDonald for this final spot in the top 10, and that's important because that is the invert. Geez, I can't wait to see what Hayden Luthwaite can do in the invert here, because we know how fraught with danger it is at the best of times, let alone on a track notoriously difficult to overtake on like Oulton Park. So Luthwaite will go from 10th, and Eldridge, BMW swap around here. 5 Bimmers in the top 10, 2 Lambos, and also 3 Audis. So just 3 manufacturers featuring in the top 10. And Eldridge and Ferguson will go from the front row of the second race. And we can't wait to see what might unfold when they take the green flag shortly. And we will see those results, of course, at the end of our coverage of the Pro Split second race, which is where our attention will turn to very shortly. Results from race 1 on your screen there. And a real good performance from Luthwaite. And Benici was in his own company as well, really. They were in a different postcode compared to the rest of the field. Tacklew, after getting overtaken by Benici, there was no real, fight for him in the closing stages. He went about his business in a really calm and moderate manner, processional manner, if you like. Wooden was 4th. Of course, that incident for O'Loughlin and also Dial plummeted them down the order. Chiplin was 5th. Sharp, Yarwood, Coleman, Ferguson, and Eldridge made up the top 10. Eldridge will be the winner of the invert. But we're going to leave the AM split right now, so we'll come back to this one a little bit later on. We'll see how it all plays out. Notoriously difficult, those second races, especially on a track where overtaking comes at a premium. So it'll be interesting to see what the form guide delivers and how it all plays out, but we'll do that after we get our dose of pro GT3 racing with Thanks to Waste Options out of the way. We'll do that next for you on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Hope you're enjoying Monday Night Motorsport. Well done to Hayden Luthwaite, getting the job done. We wait to see how race 2 plays out. On the other side of this break, however, the qualifying results and the race 1 results from the Pro Split as we get ready to bring you their second race of the night. And we wait to see if anyone can get in the way of Matt Dench and a commanding championship lead. Back soon, Monday Night Motorsport on the GSRC platforms. Monday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. You just get the feeling that we're on the precipice of one of the more significant motorsport stories, real-world motorsport stories Australian motorsport seen in quite some time, but more on that a little bit later on. Nice to have you along for the ride. We're going to let the virtual world do the talking for the moment. We welcome you back to Oulton Park in Cheshire, England, the United Kingdom, Great Britain, and round 3, race 2 of the Waste Options Pro Championship. And as I said earlier, and the same applies here. When you look at this circuit, and there it is on your screen now, we've jumped ahead to 14:46 in the afternoon, so 2:46 in the afternoon, 19 degrees ambient and on-track temperature, 11 kilometre an hour winds, 4.29 kilometres. But have a look at how tight and narrow the circuit is, ladies and gentlemen. So unlike other invert racing where the field sorts itself out because there are plenty of overtaking opportunities, but there are some that play the game and wait for their moment and bide their time and play strategy. Here is one of those circuits where if you can buy a little bit of clear air as one of those beneficiaries of the invert, say the first or second row, it can really work to your advantage and you can actually convert and capitalize on it. This is not a straightforward scenario in any way, shape or form. If you want to move to the front tonight, you want to play the game and you want to play, you want to fight for that outright race win, you're going to have to get the elbows out and potentially a little bit dirty as well. Matty Dench on top of the championship, 127 points. These were the points as they stood at the end of round 2 coming into this round, of course. John Merritt second, Ash Collins, Jonathan Hooper, Chuk Fung Wong, Tom Bidgood, then Greg Heaney, Gary Cousins, Paul Wood and Richard Mitchell made up the top 10. 11 points the margin first to second, 1 point separates third and fourth, 4 points separates fifth and sixth, 5 points separates seventh and eighth. But one thing's certain, and that is if your name is Merritt or Dench, you're in good stead early on in the championship campaign. Qualifying results saw a bit of a changing of the guard tonight. Richard Mitchell on top, 131.122. Rick Vincent, Thomas Martin, Jared Knight, Paul Rogers. Then Chu Kang, Riley Jones, Ash Collins, Fred Kahn, and Cam Culverwell, the top 10. Where the bloody hell is M. Dench? 20th. 1.7 seconds off the pace. He's played the game, though, because if we have a look at the results of race 1, he's fought his way through in the Bimmer to finish 9th, which means he starts second, which means goodbye and good luck catching it. Richard Mitchum, the winner of race 1, on home turf, so he's comfortable and happy, no doubt, in the Merc. Thomas Martin, Rick Vincent, Riley Jones, Jared Knight, Ash Collins, then Chu Kang, Chris Morgan, Matty Dench and Tom Bidgood made up the top 10, which means the grid looks like this for race 2. Tom Bidgood and Matty Dench, the front row, were at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Someone's opted not to start this. Oh, Denchy's not starting. Denchy's not starting. There's a story for you. Denchy's not even on the grid. Nor is Pete Matson. So there's the grid. Bidgood on his own on the front row. Chris Morgan, Chu Kang, Ash Collins, Jared Knight, Riley Jones, Rick Vincent, Thomas Martin and Richard Mitchum make up the first 5 rows. Paul Rogers, Jonathan Hooper, Greg Heaney, Chuk Fung Wong, Cam Culverwell, Ryan Mulder, Daniel Correa-Sarr, Paul Wood, Stephen Gallacher and Zach Christie, with David Baz, Tim Fuge, Dane Snadden, Brett McMullen, and then Fred Kahn making up the field. Pete Matson's opted not to start. Matty Dench, he said that's a bit different. He's not sure what's happened there. And Pete's in a different split, is he? Okay, copy that. So he was in here, but has obviously found out that he was in the... Copy that. All right, let's rock and roll. A Denchless grid gets underway at Oulton Park. Let's go. The run down to the first corner. Fraught with danger.
Very congested first corner there.
Onto the grass already. That went Chu Kang. Driving back down the inside, trying to force the issue is Ash Knight with Jared Collins. Sorry, Ash Collins with Jared Knight, I should say. Look at me going all dyslexic on a Monday night. Through we go, down to the hairpin. Maybe Dent just had a gutful of the BMW on Oulton Park as a combination. He's back out there now. We started from pit lane. Cam Culverwell is off the road. So I'm none the wiser as to what's going on with Matt Dench, but he has got back out on the racetrack. He started from pit lane. There was a stop of 2.27 seconds. David Baz is back on pit road. But yes, the big story is that M. Dench is at the back of the train. Bidgood, Morgan, Ren Collins, Knight, Kang, Vincent Jones, Martin and Mitchum and Rogers. Paul Rogers making up the top 10 at the moment. The big losers so far, Cam Culverwell down 7 spots and M. Dench down 22. Everybody else in the pluses. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 maybe, depending upon whereabouts you are in this field. And pretty processional at this point as well. Adam Lavis, there's a real follow the leader vibe to this. Just one long freight train.
For now, but we'll see what happens here. This looks pretty feisty.
Chris Morgan leads the field up the back straight. The chase for Tom Bidgood. How good does that Bimmer look? That has got Cessnock colours written all over it. Black and yellow, black and gold. Magnificent. Okay, and then in another update for you, ladies and gentlemen, because it's obviously got tongues wagging. We were talking about the supercars story year on year. More to it than what meets the eye. And those screenshots have obviously got back to Supercars headquarters, and they've promptly changed fixed up the error or changed it back or whatever way they want to write the narrative at the moment. But I tell you what, there'll be people knocking on the door of their Gold Coast headquarters tomorrow morning, demanding some sort of answers to this unfolding situation. So the more we think we know, the less we know is the tail of the tape there. Off goes Ash Collins. Pointing the wrong way. Chris Morgan as well. Collins drops back to third. And unfortunately, Chris Morgan was pointing towards the wall on the exit of the final corner. Fred Kahn's on pit road. David Baz has been there a little while. And Chris Morgan is now down in 21st position from what was second. Carnage at the bottom of the bottom circuit at the end of the previous lap. So it all started with Chris Morgan and continued on with a couple of isolated incidents beyond that. Did he have some help? No. Or maybe. He might have already been out of control on the way through before we got it loose, before we got the helping hand to finish it off. Have a look here. Oh, it was sliding all right. And that just topped it off. We're watching Richard Mitchum in 7th. 3 spots already. Jared Knight up 4 spots. But the problem for them, and Adam Lavis will know all too well what I'm talking about here, the problem for them is that Tom Bidgood's already 2.8 seconds up the road. Already gone. Bidgood, Knight, Collins, Chu Kang, Jones, Martin and Mitchum. Then Vincent, Rogers and Hooper. But Culverwell's down 2 spots. Dench has already got back up into 18th from the rear of the grid from the pit lane. Now, I'm not sure what happened there, whether he's left the room and not been able to get onto the grid in time because he needed to empty the fuel tank or something similar. We know that Chris Morgan's running into trouble down 18 spots. Stephen Gallacher down 3. And David Baz down 4, parked up out of the race. David Baz is a retirement. That's breaking news. We got Mercedes first, BMW second, third, Ferrari fourth, then a swag of Porsches there, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. Ferrari 9th, BMW 10th. The first of the Audis in this split down in 12th place through Greg Heaney and Ryan Mulder. No other manufacturers represented on the grid. So yet again, Yet again, we've got no room for Lambo, McLaren, no love for Ford in this server. 132.551, fastest lap of the race for Jared Knight. Ash Collins third, Chu Kang, Riley Jones, Thomas Martin, Richard Mitchell, Rick Vincent down into 8th place, then Paul Rogers and Jonathan Hooper. Chu Kang running in 4th place at the moment, best place to the Ferraris. Yeah, that swathe of Porsches. When I used, for context as well, ladies and gentlemen, blame the late great Australian sportscaster Norman May for the use of the word swathe. Swathed in bandages was what he said when Rick McCosker made his way to the crease in the 1977 Centennial Test. Broken jaw, wrapped up just so he could get out there and back, wrapped up in a swathe of bandages. So you could hardly see his face. Only his eyes, I think, were visible.
Here's Woodsy with the newest colours of the Aussie Racers liveries.
It's good to see. A little bit of a teal sort of look to that.
Yeah, it's like an aqua essence teal, metallic teal, yeah. And here he comes.
Matty Dench in 18th place, charging his way through. BMW power. Bid good night, Collins, Jones and Kang, the top 5. Good move from Jones to get by Kang. I can't wait to ask Paul Wood about the change of colour as well, and why he felt now, after so long running the distinct blue, why now is a good time to change.
Well, basically, because we've got so many drivers now, we had to put some extra colours in. So we got added the aqua essence, and we added the burnt orange, and yeah, there was a couple other guys that like blue. So Paul was like, "Okay, I like the teal. The teal will come out better than I expected. I'll have that."
Because you and Treno use the distinct green, as we know.
Yeah, me and Treno got the green.
Pete Madsen had the yellow when he was there, didn't he?
Yeah, we sort of we've steered away from the yellow because the yellow is hard to get the spec map to work correctly. So we sort of steered away from that. We sort of went more to an orange as a replacement. And yeah, they got the teal, and I got the stealth, and I got the two.
He's under pressure here.
He's got him.
Yep, Daniel Correa through on the inside. Got Paul Wood. And he might look to take. Yep, he'll take Zach Christie with him. Christie gets through on the inside on the exit as well. Down the main straight we go. Christie up to 15th. Wood back to 16th. Wood trying to fight force the issue around the outside. Can't get it done. So Christie maintains 15th for now. Well done. Only lap 7 of 24. Jesus, the long race. Around here! Trouble.
How do you say that?
I've got no idea. No idea. An extra 10 laps on the race distance as well, ladies and gentlemen. It's important to note. What a save. Buy yourself a lotto ticket. Stroke of luck, that one. Got no idea. So Dench moves into 16th. He's been there for a little while. I'm trying to latch on to Zach Christie and Daniel Correa-Sart.
I wonder if Dench will do a reverse fuel strat, or whether you'll just see how it goes with the traffic.
That's a fair question. I'm not sure. I don't think he could. I don't think he could save his way to the checkered flag. I just don't think that's doable.
No. But the other interesting thing tonight is with a couple of the boys here, their teams with the teams bragging rights championships, they're running line astern. So we got Ash and Jared running together, and then we got Jonathan and Chuck running together, and right behind them go Greg and Ryan. So a couple of the teams working together to get some good points to the board.
Greg Heaney sitting there in 12th at the moment, running the Audi. He's got Ryan Mulder behind him. So teammate on teammate here, because you got Hooper and Fang Wong just ahead running the same BMW livery. And of course the countdown on now to the Bathurst 12 hour here in the real world at the Mount Panorama Circuit. 13 days away, and of course 14 days away, Australian time that is, early hours of the Monday morning, the 19th of February, to the Daytona 500. What a weekend that's going to be. Two of the big jewels in the crown of world motorsport being held within 24 hours of one another. It'll be fantastic.
It's getting to that time of the year where it's all starting to kick off. We've got the Giro season started, IndyCar season will start shortly, NASCAR's probably already going to get started. We've got the Formula Ones dropping their liveries, hit right, left, right and centre, good and or bad. We got Lewis Hamilton just doing a mic drop on the driver market, so it's all happening.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. Trouble! Greg Heaney's gone!
Oh, they're the saves tonight, though.
The saves have been all-time first-class work from these guys tonight, but he's lost a bunch of ground in a couple of spots, has Greg Heaney.
And to be
he's
fair,
now under pressure from Daniel Correa-Sarr as well, but he won't be able to get by.
And to add to that, saving in the GT3s is even harder, because you've got all the electronic aids stopping you, so you can't really just light the wheels up to give yourself some traction and drift it, and you can't really use the brakes to lock it up because they're ABS, and also the steering lock on these things is minute. There's very little actual steering angle with the front wheels, so saving the slides is very well done for these guys. Very, very impressive. We've seen two tonight, and they've been very good.
Indeed, they have been mega impressive. All-star sort of performance that. And on the subject, well done to NASCAR as well over the course of the weekend. I woke up yesterday morning to a memo saying that they've brought the clash at the Coliseum forward 24 hours just so that they could get it in to avoid severe weather that was heading to the LA region. So well done to NASCAR. Throwing the schedule out the window and going for it in the name of getting the job done. $15 laps to go. Tom Biggood the leader. Jared Knight second. Just waiting for his moment. Just biding his time, hoping to get it done on strategy, I'd say. Dench has got back to 15th place, having got by Zach Christie. Next target, Daniel Correa-Sarr. You're riding on board with Correa-Sarr, looking back at Dench. Dench, you'll just run to a number here. You'll just run to a number.
You see there the amount.
This might be his drop round though.
But you just see there the difference in lines there. Denchi opened that chicane up massively compared to Daniel there. Gave himself much more of a wider entry to make that chicane. He's just getting all those slightly wider entries in the earlier turn-ins to give himself better exits. It's very Denchi's gain to his speed. Just getting all those lines pinpoint perfect. Like, Daniel's not slow by any means, but Denchi just knows how to optimise every inch of the track.
And you can hear,
reverse strat.
There he goes into pit lane right now. Reverse strat indeed, but this is the thing, isn't it? Where I was listening to him going into that corner. It sounds as though he got out of the throttle just a smidgen earlier.
He'll still be saving.
No.
He'll still be saving to make his pit stop shorter. But now he's committing to that earlier. So now he has to. He can't just, if he only puts enough fuel in for the numbers he's been running, he has to stay at that fuel saving level. He can't just drop the hammer. That's the one downside with him pitting early. Is now he's committing to whatever fuel number he's currently running.
Exactly. And has to. So the remainder of the 14 laps ahead of us here. So we're watching a few different stories here. We're watching a few different battles as well.
So Jared's 90's actually started to close the gap here to be good.
And a couple of different strategies playing out as well. Big Good doing well to control the race at the front. Beneficiary of the invert has led all the way and done so nicely. Pit lane, let's just have a look. Tim Fuge out of the race, and Fred Kahn out of the race, David Baz out of the race. Only 3 retirements thus far.
Oh, sorry, I was going to look at David Baz, because David Baz crashed lap 1, and so it looks over there.
Paul Woods, Brett McMullen, Matty Dench have all stopped, and now Rick Vincent has done the same. Good to see Rick Vincent back in the server.
So I didn't mean to come over on this. So we're coming up to the fast sweeper.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
he's going to get a helping hand. Whooshka! Yep. That's what happened to the Goodyear car behind him, Fred Kahn. Wipeout. Bang. Oh. No. Put that one in the can. She's done. That's ridiculous. Have a look at this again.
It's also sent Baz to Narnia.
Yep. That's why he dropped out of a shot there, ladies and gentlemen, and the replay came to a premature halt.
So in the inner workings of iRacing, they have there's limitations of where your car is allowed to be. So those sort of things where you get, obviously it's never expecting you to be 10 metres in the air down the straight. So if you go past a certain threshold, it just instantly tows you back to the pits rather than you getting the option once your car lands. We just call it something being sent to Narnia because you get no choice about it. Oh, nice move here. Is that Christie?
Down the inside.
Snad wants a piece of this too.
This places Daniel Correa-Sarr now under pressure from Snad. See, that's the thing. Poor old Daniel. He's been under pressure for a good 5, 6, 7 laps here. We're standing it okay, but losing ground in the process. Keeping it on the black stuff, keeping it clean. It's good to see. Bidgood, Knight, Collins, Jones, Martin, Mitchum, Kang, Rogers, Hooper, and Wong. The top 10. Martin now has the fastest lap of the race to his name. 1:32.359.
And just as I push the button, did you not do the fast one?
Exactly. Always does. Always does. 1:32.34. And closing in on Rick Vincent. That's his next target, is Matty Denches.
So, old Johnny Hooper here. He's another one of those stories in our club who started way down the bottom back in up-and-comers. And he's been chipping away at the last year or two. And now he finds himself in the top 10 of the Pro Split, one of our most competitive series we have. So good on old Hooper here for sticking with it and finding his way and now reaping the rewards of some good racing.
So Bidgood doing a nice job here. It's Mercedes leading BMW, Ashcroft, of course, in third. The two Porsches, Martin and Mitchum, fourth and fifth, they're all yet to stop. In fact, everyone down to 14th, and Chris Morgan is yet to stop. Morgan, of course, caught up in an incident earlier in the piece as well. Drench, the fastest lap of the race, 1:32.224. 10 laps to go next time by the line. Dench is 41 seconds off the leader, so I think that's it's a long shot from here for him. But stranger things have happened. In comes Richard Mitchum, Paul Rogers and Jonathan Hooper. So now we're starting to get to the point where it's crunch time and these guys are going to pull the trigger and go to pit lane. Greg Heaney's at Christie as well. Ryan Mulder kicked up a bit of grass, but he's okay for the moment.
He's been wide at one.
Bidgood, Knight, Collins, Martin, Kang, the top five. How late is too late? Where's our critical number? Well, considering that Denchi stopped at the end of lap 10 and now has just done a 1:32.126, I might add. Denchi stopped at the end of lap 10, is up to 14th. That would suggest to me that, that might not have necessarily been the earliest you could go, but it's a safe number. With Paul Woods gone at 8 and 16 to go, 16 might be the latest these guys can pit and get home.
You'd be most likely this lap or the next lap, I guess.
Based on the matrix, yep.
Looking at that, we've been 23 minutes of racing, 24 to 25 minutes is at the sort of average full pace. If you save a bit of fuel, you might be able to stretch that a little bit longer.
And we've seen that there is some merit to saving juice. In comes Bidgood and Knight at the end of lap 15, though. So too Collins. So this is the big lap.
The trick is, like, if you're out and about,
Martin goes on.
If you're out and about in the first part of your race, and you look down, and as you cross the line, it tells you you got about, like, say you've got 14.7 laps of fuel, right? If you can save that extra 0.3, 0.4 lap of fuel, that's one less lap of fuel you need to put in the car to get home.
True.
And that's where Denchi saves his times, because
everyone but Thomas Martin came in that time around, Adam. It's important to note he should come in this time by.
Gets his time there. He just slowly gets to that line and just saves a couple of laps here and there. And Jared has jumped on Bidgood.
Jared Knight gets out in front of Tom Bidgood. The first time we've seen Bidgood lose the effective race lead all night at the hands of the man that's pushed him all the way.
There's only 1/10 between them in their stop time. So I'm wondering if Bidgood's just not maximised the pit entry and exit there.
Let's have a look. Bidgood running into pit lane, and Jared Knight has closed up a bit of room there. In fact, quite a considerable amount of room on the run into pit lane. So, yeah, well picked up by Adam Lavis. Maximising pit entry so incredibly vitally crucial and important in these situations. Thomas Martin now to pit lane at the end of lap 16. 8 laps to go.
Yeah, just got the better run. Just pipped into the line.
Yep. Happens so often. In close, tight, tense tussles and situations like that. We're at the end of the... we're at the start of the 17th lap. We're at the back end of the 26th minute of this race. There goes Brett McMullen. Sliding down out of the top 20 now.
Assuming this is going to be too much Chandel. Nah, he's lost the rear entry.
And Daniel Correa-Sar's just come into the pit lane again as well. Interesting stop there for Daniel Correa-Sar on lap 16. 13.68 seconds. So there were only a couple of drivers that left it that late to stop. Dench has got himself back into the top 10. I just get the feeling this is going to be one of his drop rounds at the end of the season. 1.1 seconds away from Chu Kang, and then another 1.1 seconds away from Paul Rogers and Rick Vincent. So whatever Dench can salvage from here, it'll be not dissimilar to his ninth in race number 1. It'll be a Denchless podium tonight, Adam Laverson. You've got to go back a long time in GT3 racing circles where he hasn't podiumed in either race, especially on nights where he's been here, more to the point.
Yeah, that is the key factor. But Dane's looking pretty racy here. You really want to have a sniff down that front chicane, but you've got to get really keen on the brakes. It's a very tight chicane there, so getting that move done, you need to have a bit of overlap heading down the straight to get it done. But he's looking very racy here, and he really wants to get by Zach. Zach was very feisty early on, but it looks like maybe he's fading a little bit, or just Dane's come on either or. So a bit of a Porsche cut back here with an Audi at the back. So good racing throughout.
So Christie in 14th. Oh, geez. Snowden running it very wide on the exit on the run into the longer part of the circuit, the extension, the full circuit configuration variant. Sun's starting to set slowly.
Oh, in the United
Kingdom. Oh, Christie's lost out on that one.
He got up high there, and I was getting worried. He's done well to save and minimise the damage, because that could have easily been in the fence.
So, but not before he loses out to Dane Snowden and Greg Heaney. That's the unfortunate reality of that.
So Bitgood hasn't given up here. He's keeping with Jared. He's going to try and make a race of it. And then we've also got a battle for third back there too. So it's actually tightened up towards the front here.
"19 of 24. 28.5 minutes gone. 6 laps from home. Jared Knight's the leader. But Big Good's closing in. 32.8 last time around for Big Good. 33.5 for Knight. Collins is not too far away either.
This would be a much happier Jared, I believe, when we talk to him later. Because yeah, basically on Thursday night, he just did the old trick of not having the clutch in when he pulled the gear in the Porsche, and it crept forward on him. And so straight for a drive-through straight off the bat. And yeah, they had to do the whole recovery in the Porsche Cup when he started qualified sort of in the top 5-ish area.
He's got a real love-hate relationship with that Porsche, doesn't he? Oh boy. Jared Knight, 5.5 laps from home, and this might look like a processional sort of race, ladies and gentlemen, but as is so often the case in these invert races, it's warming up to a crescendo, and we are in for a frantic finish here.
Well, the interesting is
battles right throughout the top 10, Adam.
Yeah, the top 10, they're all pairing up.
The onus is on third and fourth, though. Collins and Martin somewhat work together and close in on Big Good and Knight as best they can. And that goes to show you right there, Richard Mitchum, that goes to show you how difficult overtaking is on this circuit. Last week, or 2 weeks ago when we last had an invert race, the guys were, somewhat back in their previous order, their race one finishing order, not too long after the start. But Oulton Park, a completely different kettle of fish, and it really shakes, mixes and spices things up. Tonight, no exception.
Hang on. I mistake, we've already seen this.
Copy that.
This is not what I wanted to do.
Uh-oh.
He's done it again.
Oh! Denchi gets lucky there, buys a little bit of luck on Chu Kang's.
Is it?
Misfortune. Mishap.
Was that twice Chu's on the same save?
I think so. In the same corner, yeah.
So probably like with the new grass model. The old grass model, we would have no chance. New grass model is just a little bit of grip there to help you.
No. The last incarnation of the grass model, it was like sliding down a slippery slope of water as soon as you touch the grass. No control whatsoever.
They sort of need to find a happy middle ground. At the moment, the grass to point now has a bit too much grip. Because now some people, there's actually been... Oh, no!
Oh, here we go. Paul Rogers.
Grass and spins it.
And gifts Matthew Dench 8th place. Gifts it to him. Oh, boy. Collins into 3rd place now. Collins holding off Martin at the moment. They are catching Tom Bidgood. And Bidgood's slipping back on Jared Knight. Jared Knight might have this one. 3 laps to go next time by the line. Knight is looking good. A smidgen of overtime will be required to get us to the end of lap 24. But we'll get there, and we'll get there comfortably. Collins and Martin 3rd and 4th. Jones and Mitchum 5th and 6th. Vincent and Dench 7th and 8th. And Dench is now only 0.9 of a second away from Rick Vincent. They're the only 4 battles really still on the racetrack. McMullen's out of the race. Khan's got back out there, but is not going to be classified on 75% race distance. Tim Fuge, David Baz. So Jared Knight, Tom Bidgood. Bidgood's going to be under pressure here by the end of this. If Collins and Martin can continue to work together, we're going to have a 3-car shootout for 2 positions on the podium behind Jared Knight. And if Collins can get through, it'll be a team 1-2. And it'll be a BMW 1-2 as well. Porsche, Mercedes and BMW are the cars to have in this race. Ferrari's down in 9th and 10th. Audi's beyond that in 12th with through Ryan Mulder, and Greg Keeney's 15th. But Jared Knight's 2 laps from home with a 1.5 second advantage. Collins has now slipped outside that 1 second threshold on Tom Bidgood. And if they can't latch closer between now and the start of the white flag lap, the final lap, then you can just about forget about it.
Oh, Riley Jones is pitting. From 6th place.
That has to be unexpected and unscripted and unplanned.
We took 12 seconds of fuel at the last stop, so unless he's just burning that bit much more, or unless he's triggered the instant point limit.
Yep, it's a drive-through. And Jones slips back to 10th, and Dench moves up to 7th, all over the back of Rick Vincent. Desperately unlucky.
Yeah, as I was saying, the exit of turn 1 and the exit of turn 3, they're very easy to trigger.
Time. So Knight and Bidgood and Collins. Collins really the only one under pressure at the moment for his on-track position. In the form of Thomas Martin. Can Martin get himself onto the podium?
What Martin needs to get just a little bit closer so he can start trying to fill the mirrors of Ash and just offside him a little bit.
There's a podium for Martin in race 1. Can he back it up? White flag in the air, last lap, one to go at Oulton Park. Martin can't get down the inside just yet. Collins doing a good job of defending here and covering it off.
Oh, Martin's making a mistake there.
He has. Will he pay the price? Possibly. I think that might be enough now. Collins just needs to keep it on the black stuff. Dench the fastest lap of the race. All over the back of Rick Vincent like a cheap suit. Will Dench try and dive down the inside at the hairpin? Let's have a look at this. He's 7th at the moment. Can he make it 6th? Vincent driving a defensive line here on the inside. Down to the hairpin they go. It'll make Dench go the long way around. Dench accepts the invitation, then gets balked mid-corner by Vincent, who drove beautifully and defensively. Bit of gamesmanship going on there, I think. Not the way in which Rick Vincent balked Matty Dench. And they're the little 101 games that can make or break your battle. If you're clever enough to know what you're doing to keep your opposition, the bloke that's attacking your rear end, your bumper bar, if you're in a position where you can keep him second guessing, all power to you. Main straight, checkered flag. Jeez, he's more comfortable in a Bimmer than a Porsche. Jared Knight gets the job done at Oulton Park. Tom Bidgood second, Ash Collins third, Thomas Martin fourth. So no change there in the end. Richard Mitchum comes home in 5th. That's somewhat a little bit disappointing for him after the win in race 1, but 2 top 5 finishes for him tonight. Not too bad, all things considered. Dench came in 6th with the fastest lap of the race. A case of what not might have been for him, a 9th and a 6th tonight. Rick Vincent 7th, Chu Kang, Paul Rogers, Riley Jones, Chuk Fung Wong, and Ryan Mulder with Jonathan Hooper, Dane Snadden, Greg Heaney making up the top 15. Zach Christie was 16th. Chris Morgan was 17th. He got caught out early in the piece and was playing catch-up for much of the remainder of the night. Daniel Correa-Sarr in 18th, Paul Wood 19th, and Cam Culverwell was 20th. Stephen Gallagher 21st, the last of the finishers. Few people, not least us, happy to see the back end of that one. Oulton Park doesn't always throw up the most positive and life-affirming racing. Doesn't necessarily get the blood pumping unless you're out there on the racetrack. But yes, really good performance tonight from Jared Knight and Richard Mitchum to get the race wins here, Adam.
Snatter with the photo bomb there as these guys trying to get their photo op. Yeah, all 4 of them at once. There we go. That's what they were looking for.
They've done well. They've done very, very well. Well done, boys. Good stuff. Have a look at that. For teamwork. I don't know if they can go 4 wide along there, but yes. Maybe on the main straight. It is Oulton Park. It's a very narrow beast. There are the results for you. 7 seconds covered the top 5 in the end. 3 covered the top 4. Not as close as we may have anticipated or liked it to be, but clean at the front, and that's the main thing. Most of the incidents tonight were self-inflicted. There were a couple that required the attention of race control, but nothing major. Daniel Correa-Sarr drops by the booth, not as the producer and director this time around, but more so as a driver that's been out there in the thick of it. I'm happy to see the back of Oulton Park, mate. Are you?
Hey guys, how's it going? Well, I've never been given the first pit slot at Oulton Park before, but it was bound to happen sooner or later, and that really did not work out for me. I ended up having to go through the pits twice because I missed the first pit stop.
So that explains what happened to you.
Yeah, so it's all me. It's all my fault. But yeah, the spotter didn't tell me that I was an early pit box until after I'd already crossed the pit box. So you live, you learn. But other than that,
yeah.
It was all right. I mean, I feel so much better in the BMW. The Lambo, I don't know what it was. It's probably just me not being able to practice enough, but the Lambo was just impossible. Absolutely impossible to drive, so it's nice to be in a car that at least isn't trying to kill me. Still off the pace, but in any case, it is what it is.
You are not the first driver to have that issue here at this racetrack. There have been a couple of others caught out by the same thing in the past, and we've even had one caught out by it at Sandown, I remember, historically as well. So a frustrating night, mate, it's fair to say. Only 17th in race 1, 18th in race 2, so you got to the finish, you bagged a couple of points, but it's by no means where you would have liked to be.
No, of course not. But at the same time, you get out what you put in, right? So unfortunately, I just haven't had the time that I'd like to practice for the event in the week leading up. And so it is what it is. Like, I need to put in so much more time and I ever hope to catch up to the guys ahead. So although, you want to be further up, and probably would have been had I not had or at least in the second race, had I not had the pit stop incident. I'm just happy to be in one piece, to be honest with you.
Well, that's exactly right. We were mentioning on comms that this is one of those difficult racetracks to master and one of those difficult, frustrating racetracks to go racing on. Put simply, overtaking opportunities come at a premium. They're few and far between. And as a result of that, you really have to work hard for position on the racetrack.
Yeah, 100%. And I'll also just mention it in the first race. I did end up spinning somebody in the hairpin that's coming. I'm not sure if it wasn't racing room or if I went a little bit too much on the inside. I felt like they turned in on me, but again, race control didn't bring it up. I'm not sure if it was flagged or not. But overtaking here it's one of those things where here is actually the worst one, because if you get a better exit than someone else, you're stuck pretty much bumper to bumper all the way through, and then you got to be careful because you got this chicane where if you touch the tire bundle, your wheel will go to the moon, and then you'll have permanent damage. And then all throughout here, if you're fast enough here too, you just get stuck. So you do have to attack a little bit more viciously in order to get the pass done sometimes. But as far as tracks go, overtaking here is really risky. Like you really have to be committed or basically just resign to being behind.
What are your thoughts on next week as we look ahead on the calendar, mates? It's Road Atlanta, and it's a 60-minute affair.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Road Atlanta, honestly.
No.
Road Atlanta is a great track, and I think it'll probably suit the BMW a little bit better, I believe. I just hope that I can get on and actually practice for it rather than just rocking up on the night.
All right, very nicely done. And how are you finding yourself getting acquainted with the BMW here, please?
So the BMW is just one of those safe picks. So it's fast, and if you put it in the right hands, it's a rocket. But it's one of those cars where I think it's way more forgiving than any other. So if you don't if you don't put in a lot of time, it'll at least stay on the track. As long as you don't do something crazy or you get any damage. So, as the laps wound down, I started getting more and more comfortable in the car. It was good. It was good out there.
And your next racing assignment, when is it, please? Are you racing anywhere, anything else between now and next Monday?
I keep meaning to race the GR86 challenge on a Wednesday, but I've been caught up with some other stuff. But I'm hoping that this Wednesday I'll actually be able to do it. But other than that, my only two goals for the season are to race the GT3s and the GR86.
All right, very nicely done. And of course, our audience will be listening to your dulcet tones on Thursday night for another exciting night. Formula V from Brands Hatch, which I think is probably a better fit than GT and Oulton Park, just quietly, because the V's put on a good show anyway. And then, of course, we've got some Porsche racing to look forward to as well.
Yeah, and both of those series have been crack up till now. So, looking forward to it very much.
All right, mate, very nicely done. I'll be back on deck with you next week for more of the Porsche and Formula V racing. Unfortunately, the funeral at Cam Bartholomew will probably rule me out of Thursday night, at least for the entree. I might be back for the main course. Who knows? Go well, mate. Good to catch up with you as per usual. And thanks for stopping on by to have a chat to us. First cab off the rank in the post-race show.
No worries, mate. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
There he is, Daniel Correa. Let's press on here, and we'll hear from Greg Heaney and Zach Christie very shortly. Paul Wood, you caught my eye, though, for very obvious reasons. A distinct change of colour on that car of yours, because unfortunately, with the team expanding, blue and red are no longer the primary colours. We've now got almost like a rainbow flavour going on inside the Aussie Racers stable.
Yeah, we're trying to spread the colours around, make it a bit easier for you boys in the broadcast to tell us all apart. So yeah, as the ranks have grown, we thought we'll try some different colours and just try and spread the love around a little bit. But yeah, I found this colour, which is the tealy sort of colour, and I quite like it. So I thought I'll take that one. So yeah, hopefully you'll find it a little bit easier to tell us all apart in the future. But yeah, the Old Bailey ladders is still staying the same. It's just the colours around it are changing. But yeah, overall though, it's not going too bad. But yeah, this race tonight, not a good one for me.
I was going to say, once we get our head around not so much the names and the numbers, but definitely the colour changes, I think we should be okay. We were told that you were quite happy with the way the teal aqua colour looked on the car, and that's why you went in that direction. That's the only problem for your livery designer, though. The more cars, the more stables, the more colours, the more work. But they look fantastic. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, let's not talk too much about tonight, Paul Wood, because there'll be a few people happy to forget this one and move on.
Yeah, the Bailey Ladders BMW was just absolute rubbish for me tonight. I could not get the car to drive, didn't want to stop, didn't want to turn, didn't want to get out of the corners. It just, I don't know, didn't matter what I threw at it, it just did not improve whatsoever. So it was more a fact of just staying on track, trying to stay out of people's way and not get caught up too much in faster cars trying to get by me. But yeah, I'll be happy to put this one in the history books and leave it right there. So yeah, it was a really poor performance by me tonight.
There will be a few, and I stress a few people in the same boat tonight, although there'll be a couple that'll be happy with what they've achieved here, and they'll keep this very much on their points haul for the season that was, but a few will no doubt acknowledge this as a drop round, including yourself most likely. But in saying that, mate, onwards and upwards, right at Atlanta next week, and that's one much more to everybody's liking.
Yeah, it should be a bit more fun and hopefully a little more conducive to a few more overtakes. This track's very hard because it's not the most wide track, but they're very awkward corners, so it's very hard to make a clean move. So, yeah, hopefully a little more interesting next week, and hopefully I can find a little more pace and a little more comfort in the car to actually enjoy the race. So, yeah, onwards and upwards.
I don't think they designed this circuit with GTs in mind. In saying that, though, mates, looking forward to seeing you back in the server later in the week in a couple of the other categories, including GT4. And, of course, we're looking forward to... Richard Mitchum's standing by. We're going to him in just a moment. I'm glad that he's jumped in for a chat, but I've just got the memo that he's time poor at the moment, so we're going to him in just a tick. But Woodsy, thanks for stopping on by for a chat. I agree with what you're saying. And also, of course, I mean, even in the invert situation, we didn't see a lot of overtaking tonight. But right at Atlanta and 60 minutes, there's guaranteed to be action from first to last.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be a good one. So, yeah, I'll look forward to it and hope for a better result next week.
All right, very nicely done, mate. Thank you. Let's press on to Richard Mitchum and catch him while we can. Mate, firstly, Happy New Year. I don't think I've had a chance to have a chat to you yet. Nice to have you on board. So far, so good. The +5 tonight in the second race took you from 10th up to 5th, and that complemented the win in race 1 right at home in the Porsche in Great Britain.
Yeah, it's one of my more favourite tracks. Been fortunate enough to drive it quite a lot in real life as well. So, yeah, big fan of it. Unfortunately, I think the Singapore ping killed me in race 2. I ended up with 2 minutes of optionals off not touching anything, so it kind of really put paid to my pace. So I was kind of like best part of a second off of what I was in practice. So
yeah, sorry, you keep going.
Yeah, so kind of I'm pretty happy with 5th. I think it was more getting through as the other people fell off more than any being able to do much on pace, unfortunately.
And getting one up on M. Dench in both qualifying and race one, there's never an instance in which that's a bad thing, because he is the Dench mark.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it would have been good to do it on a fair fight this time. I think I had a bit more pace in quali, but I was kind of playing it safe on off tracks after I'd got a bit of a gap to everyone else there, and I actually didn't realise he'd joined until super last minute. So no, I think there's a bit more pace there. I was feeling pretty good actually. I only jumped on this afternoon, but did a bit of practice before and was more than happy with my pace.
All right, very nicely done. Let's talk about the fact that you made mention that you love this circuit, you enjoy this circuit. There's a lot of people that wouldn't appreciate exactly why you say that or agree with you. But in saying that, GT3 racing around here, probably not the most spectacular we've ever seen, but everyone's in the same boat, yeah?
Yeah, it's one where you really need to kind of force someone into a mistake rather than much else, right? I think it's pretty dangerous to go for a dive anywhere apart from maybe the final corner. But yeah, you need to force someone into a mistake and get a run on them. So it's which I don't mind actually. I think every now and then it's good to have a track that needs a slightly different tack in overtaking. Because if you are too boisterous on the brakes, it always tends to end in tears around here.
Indeed, it does. Very nicely done. Quickly get your thoughts on next week and Road Atlanta, mate. That should be a lot of fun. Our second 60-minute hit out of the season.
I will not be here for next week, so I wish everyone well. I'm skiing in Austria.
Oh, half your luck. Half your bloody luck. That'd be a culture shock compared to Singapore.
Yeah, I don't mind the cold as long as it's 1 week at a time.
Very nicely done. So is this just 1 week in Austria, or is it 2, or is it 3? What's going on?
No, this should be the only one I miss for the rest of the season, which is good because I've had a couple of questionable rounds so far. So yeah, it'll be good to keep going the rest of the season.
Well, tonight certainly wasn't one of them, mate. Nice to see you turn it around and get a W on the board. And fifth in race 2, even with, as you say, a little bit of optimal performance. What's the word I'm looking for? Shortcomings, by the way of, as you say, you had 2 minutes of optional damage repairs in pit lane, and we're still none the wiser as to why. But well done, persevering with that little bit of a compromise and getting the job done. 2 top 5 finishes, a W in the column, and onwards and upwards for the remaining 6 rounds when you rejoin us in round 5.
Yeah, cheers, Zach.
Didn't want to hold you up too long either, because I know your time poor at the moment. Obviously, it's dinner time over there in Singapore, isn't it? So,
indeed it is. Cheers, guys.
Cannot stand in the way of a man and a feed. Go well, mate. Thank you. Appreciate that. There he is, Richard Mitchum. And did not waste any time getting out of here either. Greg Heaney. Let's bring you in at this point in time. And your teammate, Zach Christie, is here as well. Geez, those blue and yellow cars look spectacular, boys. There's no doubt about that. The yellow really stands out, but maybe that's just my eye and not everybody else's. In saying that, though, when we analysed the night that was, you've still got a little bit of a fight on your hands with the Audi in the same way that Zach does the Porsche, mate. But 15th in that second race and 13th in the first race. Not the night that you would have been hoping for, but still, at least you didn't end up in the fence or in the pits.
Yes, very much so. Thanks for the comments on the livery. Trying to make it standard as best we can. Happy with my own performance. Very happy with Zach's performance as well, driving it from the back of the field a little bit further down. Ryan Mulder also did pretty well. Managed to pip us both in the end of that second race. Unfortunately, Fred had an off night again. I think he got hit by a flying car in the start of the second one. Not entirely sure what happened or how that happened.
I'll show you.
Yeah. Stand by. There'll be a replay on screen in a moment. I think we call it a wipeout. Have a look at this. And if you didn't see it earlier in the piece, folks, here's your chance to ride on board with Fred Kahn and go for a ride. Bang. That's what happened. A Ferrari, David Baz's Ferrari, flying across and collecting him on the windscreen.
Oh, yeah.
That'll do it.
Oh, yeah, indeed it will. So...
I know he had a bad start to race one.
To be fair, in David's defence, he got a helping hand from a Mercedes in the background, and then whooshka, there you go.
Yeah, we had Fred on comms, and he's just like, here I am just trying to sit at the back and avoid everything.
Mind my own business.
Top
Yep.
flying Ferrari. Unfortunate for Fred, but he's very much looking forward to Road Atlanta next week, as the rest of the crew, and we may have another recruit for the Bowens race team with Whiskey Business in Aiden Lathwaite. So we'll see how we go there. And give us another car, hopefully on the grid.
This is what we like to see. Now, very quickly, before we go any further, let's just highlight one thing here. It wasn't without its moments. Was it Zach that had a monumental slide and save?
Both of us did, I think.
Yeah.
Zach,
Talk us through that, please.
So I had one coming down into turn 2 with Ryan Mulder behind me, and it was another one of those comments like, if you're faster than me, I'll let you go past. And I did it. I jinxed myself again, and I think I might have pinched a left rear or a right rear, and it's just slid out on me. Still managed to be able to shift down the gears quick enough and regather the car. Zach's one, I don't know what he did, because all I said at the end...
Have you ever seen a drifting Porsche? Now's your turn.
All I said to him was, try and catch me and keep it on the road. And then all of a sudden, like second last lap, he's like, I'm good where I am. And I'm like, why? What did you do? Because he disappeared out of my rearview mirror.
Yeah, so it was the last lap at the fast left-hander, if you want to see a drifting Porsche. I actually saved it. I was actually happy with the save.
The saves were impressive, and it wasn't just reserved for you two either. But you're right, not just surprised within your cockpit, but also in this commentary box that you were able to save it. But we're putting that down to a little bit of driver skill and a little bit of luck, and maybe a little bit of a saving grace by iRacing with the recent changes to their grass models. In saying that, Greg, what's the plan of attack when we get to Road Atlanta, mate? The 60-minute races are a completely different kettle of fish, and they suit some drivers better than others.
Yes, very much so. Won't be any team orders. It'll be pretty much, if we're faster than each other, pretty much let each other go and see where we end up, I think.
All right, looking forward to that. And do you like Road Atlanta as a venue? Because I know Oulton Park's not everybody's favourite. A few people quite happy to see the back of it, in fact.
Oh, I don't mind Oulton Park, but as Woodsy said, yeah, there's not a lot of spaces for overtaking. And second, the other point of trying to force people into a mistake, to just play mind games with them in the mirrors, to force the error and then be able to get the pass done. But no, definitely looking forward to Road Atlanta. Very much a fan of that track. So.
Yep, indeed, as we all are. Looking forward to 60 minutes around the next Monday night with a sense of anticipation and excitement. Greg, thank you. Go well. We'll catch up with you next week.
No worries. Cheers, Zach. Very
nicely done. And no doubt a few of you would have been watching on closely tonight with the supercars around Mugello, because we've got some more racing across the club servers in Porsches, in GTs, in a few others coming up in the next few weeks. So we're all excited about that. Let's press on. Zach Christie, yes, a little bit of drift work in the Porsche. We've already covered that. In saying that, though, mate, up 4 spots in that second race. So race 1 left a little bit to be desired, and it was a case of doing the best what you had and what you could do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always about with this. I think this round was a little bit more closer with all the drivers, so it was a bit more of a damage limitation to that, and just hope for the best basically, and just keep driving around and doing laps. And pretty much, and if you get an opportunity, you get an opportunity. Lucky enough, I got a couple where I could, but it's pretty much where you start is where you finish. unless you're lucky enough. I like the enduro races a little bit more because, as you could see last week, I was in a great position, getting up some good places. But sprint races are good. It's more about where you qualify to start off with and hope for the best from there. But yeah, it was a good race for sure. Happy this race. I felt better with the Porsche at this track than Suzuka last week. That good old fast left-hander. It haunts me every night. But yeah, I love this track. I really like it. I love the differences in the chicanes because they're all different chicanes. And the fast double left-hander towards the back. Like, I love this. This track's really nice. I reckon a supercar would go good around here because of the curbs and stuff like that. But that's another race that we can do another time. But yeah, happy with tonight's performance. The Boland's racing team did really well. Or Whiskey Business Racing did really well last night or tonight. I came in with an updated livery, so I've got a couple more sponsors on there. So happy with that, and happy to show everyone off as well. So good to go a little bit good. A little bit better this race and get some coverage, which is great for all the sponsors. So yeah,
indeed. And don't worry, the save will probably get more coverage than the rest of it as well. So, as they say in the classics, any publicity is good publicity, young man.
Absolutely.
In saying that, though, yeah, I like the way you referred to it as damage limitation, because essentially from the outset, once you're already that far down the order, that's exactly the cautious, clean approach you've got to take, because we know that 9 times out of 10, if the drama's going to unfold, it's going to be in the mid pack. We've seen it so many times before, particularly on a circuit like this, where the reward is far less than the risk factor by virtue of the degree of difficulty associated with overtaking. There's no doubt about that. Right, Atlanta should be good fun, and we're looking forward to that. How are you finding the step up into the pro split? This is the 3rd week now.
I like the pro split because it gives me a little bit more, we'll say, competition. Not saying that the other guys, I'm sure they're all very, very fast drivers, and I bet they are. And I like racing. As much as it's fun, as I said in the first race of the season, as much as it's fun running around the front and leading the pack, I'd rather race. I like wheel-to-wheel racing. As you can see, for the last couple of races, I've been on the broadcast for just racing and in general for having some good old rubbing racing as what you say you like as well, because I believe that's key in motorsport, because you just don't want to see single file everywhere. You'd rather see some action, and I like to bring some action to the table, especially with my driving, because I don't expect to drift around the corner, but it's good to go wheel with people and see what skills people have, because I guess it's like a chess match, because like some corners you can be better, some other corners everyone else can be better. It's just what comes out on top at that time of you going through that corner, and once that person gets in front of you, they get in front of you, and you got to try and get them back. And I tried to push it on the last few laps to catch up to Greg. I was giving it everything, but yeah, it's really good. I like it.
I was going to say you certainly delivered on the entertainment front and on the action front, mate. You've been in the thick of it the last few weeks. And it sounds like that gives you a real adrenaline rush and gets the blood pumping and flowing, and that's the main thing. Everyone's got their different. What do you call it? Their different likes and dislikes, and what gets their heart pumping, and what they enjoy most out of these experiences. And you have been a rather entertaining addition to the field throughout the course of the season thus far, mate. We can't wait to see what you bring to the table when we get to Road Atlanta next week.
Awesome, mate. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm glad to be here and into the thick of it. I love jumping into this commentator's part, because we can have a good old chat and talk about the races. I like this part. I like bringing content to things. I love it because it's my day job, so it's pretty cool.
There we go.
Yeah.
I did not know this. This is good to know.
Yes.
So if people want to hear your dulcet tones outside of the post-race show here, where do they go?
So if you need anything sim racing, for sure, head over to Pagnin Imports, which is obviously mainly in Australia because GSRC is mainly Australia based. If you need anything from us, mainly sim racing and flying, Pagnin Imports is pretty much where you can go. Obviously, you've got I should know what they are because we work with them. Who's the other guy?
Do you want me to help you?
Yes, help me.
Mozza Racing.
No, the other reseller that helps us out. That's it. Player One. I talk to Player One all the time. Yeah, Player One Sim Gear. Sorry, my bad.
One of our sponsors, yes.
Yeah, one of GSRC sponsors. We work closely with them over at Pagnin as well. And I also work for Next Level Racing. So anything cockpit related for sim racing and sim flying, please have it over to Pagnin Imports or Player One Sim Gear, and we can definitely assist you out with anything for that, and get you into sim racing. I know that Pagnin does Ready to Race products or Ready to Fly products. So if you want to get into sim racing yourself, head over there, and we've got some amazing products there for you to get into the sim racing or sim flying world. And as you can see, we're having a lot of fun. So it's the main thing about sim racing is having fun. That's what we live by here at Whiskey Business. So that's the main part about racing, I believe.
Jesus, you've got the gift of the gab. There's no doubt about that. There's a sales pitch if ever there was one, ladies and gentlemen.
Hopefully I get a raise.
Possibly so. Just not through me. Zach, thank you, mate.
Come on.
Well, we look forward to catching up with you next week, mate.
Awesome, Zach. Thank you so much, and thank you for the boys for putting it on.
Not going to lie, if ever we're short a voice on a night where maybe Banksy goes down with the flu, I'm not available, whatever the case may be, Zach Christie might just be able to step in and have the gift of the gab here as well.
Knock on the door will not hurt. I'll be down to do anything for you. So let me know, and I'll be here.
All right. We will keep that in mind, and we'll hold you to it. There he is.
Awesome, mate. Not a problem.
Well done. Thank you.
Have a good night. See you later.
There might be a Zach club within the commentary box before too long, the way he's going. Let's get to the two main protagonists and different stories to tell tonight. Jared Knight up 5 spots in the second race after starting from 6th. That was 5th in race 1. It was 1st in race 2. The exact opposite of Richard Mitchum. But I'm going to get to you last, Nighty. Last but certainly not least, as they say. Save the best until last tonight, because it's a rare night where we see 2 finishes next to M. Dench's name, but neither of them are a podium finish. Just what the hell happened tonight, Denchy?
I think I'm getting old, mate. I went for 30-minute snooze, and an hour later we've snuck into the race session with a couple of seconds to spare. So during qualifying, I was trying to wake up, and P20 start was not ideal, but we got top 10, so we're going to start front row, and then went for a quick little bathroom break and come back to the game, frozen, relaunched, and green light already. So we cruised out of pit lane and chased down some cap.
I picked that. I said maybe he's jumped out of the bathroom and missed the jump or whatever the case may be, but I didn't think that it also was compounded by an afternoon nap and also an internet glitch halfway along as well, Denchy. Jesus, what a night. Leg up for anyone trying to chase you and track you down in the championship. Oulton Park will go down as one of those nights where, yep, sure, you invented overtaking opportunities on a circuit notoriously difficultly known for them, known for them being notoriously difficult rather, and also the fact that you still got the fastest lap, you still snagged 2 top 10 finishes. It does you no damage with regards to the championship side of things, but if anything, we're looking at this as a potential round that'll get dropped from your point score later in the season.
Yeah, like if all the rest of the rounds go according to plan, then this one will be a drop round. But we tried to grab as many points as we could. So 40 points for the night is pretty good to throw on the back.
Indeed. Can we just highlight for the moment as well that this is not the first time that internet issues have crept in the way of Dench or anybody else throughout the course of this season, let alone the previous 15 on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. So your misfortune worked into the lap in favour of others. There's no doubt about that. Talk to me through just how hard you had to work. Particularly, well, race one, you had to work hard to get into the top 10 to get the invert in the first place. We didn't see that race. You had only 16 minutes to do it. But you managed, you only had 21 minutes to do it, 14 laps, but you managed to gain 11 spots. Talk to me through race two and the fact that you've gone from second back to stone motherless last, which in this instance was 25th. And you've still been able to make your way forward 19 positions. Just talk to me about the grind and how hard you had to work and how little fuel saving you might have been doing along the way.
Yeah, there wasn't any fuel saving going on. I think I was on 12x by halfway, so we pushed pretty hard at the start there, because I think when I come out of pit lane, it was like 20-second gap to P1. So yeah, we just had to go flat out. As soon as we hit the 20 litres in the tank, we jumped straight into pit to just try and jump a bunch of guys. So yeah, we ended up with clear track from like lap 10 for a little bit. So yeah, we got to drive into the top 10 just from doing the early stops.
Indeed, and the other thing as well, mate. I mean, obviously the early stop worked into your favour, but this circuit, I mean, it's no secret that it's tight, it's narrow. Overtaking opportunities are very hard to come by. So just how, like, I mean, obviously you already noted that you're on 12x by very early in the piece as well. So just how high a percentage was the risk every time you went for an overtake tonight? Because this is one of those circuits where it can be challenging and it can often blow up in your face if it goes wrong.
Yeah, it's really easy to make a mistake through here. There's a lot of cambered corners, a lot of bumps. Some of these chicanes with tyre barriers can be pretty tricky too. Yeah, you just kind of got to focus on the exit, try and get a nose in by the next corner, and hope you make it through.
Indeed. I mean, obviously, you're not one of those drivers that goes for a move that isn't there. You're a very clean racer, notoriously, and looking back through the course of time, there's a fair amount of evidence to back that up. Generally speaking, but were there any overtaking manoeuvres along the way that might have been just a little on the nose tonight?
Yeah, I think like turn 2 is always pretty risky. Where else was there? The second chicane is also really risky as well. If the inside car, I went outside in the second chicane, and sometimes if the inside car brakes a little bit late, you get shoved off the track and get pushed into a tyre wall. But yeah, no, it was all good. Everyone got their breaker markers, and there was always space. So it's quite good.
Indeed, there was. No, it's very well done from you as per usual. We're not in the slightest bit surprised to see you at the pointy end of the tree, despite a few unplanned sidesteps, detours, hurdles being thrown at you along the course of the way. You'll no doubt be looking to restore order next week when we get to Oulton, to Road Atlanta.
Yeah, I think if I feel sleepy, I'm just going to load up a sim racing session and get some practice in instead.
Very nicely done. Maybe if anyone's got any remedies to help Denchi apart from coffee, to maybe keep him up and about so that he doesn't slip off for half an hour and have that nap, maybe let us know. I would recommend Barocca. I normally have a Barocca before we go on air. I had a coffee tonight, but that's only because I've got things to do after the broadcast, so it doesn't matter if I don't fall asleep immediately. No, Atlanta will be great, and 60 minutes is back in your wheelhouse as well, Denchi. So still looking good for title number 9 and ticking BMW off the list. But obviously, Oulton Park's one of those ones that we'll happily put in the rearview mirror and press on from.
Oh, it was a pretty good night. I quite enjoyed the track. So, yeah, Road Atlanta next week should be really favourable for the BMW, so it should be.
All right, very nicely done. Good to catch up as always, mate. Thanks for that.
No worries. Catch everyone.
And last but certainly not least, race winner tonight, ladies and gentlemen. He was only mentioning at the top of the night that the Porsche racing last week, I didn't miss much. It left very little, very little in the way of happy memories for this bloke. He was very much happy to forget about it. Jared Knight, good evening to you. Well done. It seems to be the tale of the tape at the moment that Thursday nights are forgettable, but Monday nights are memorable, albeit your moral victory a couple of weeks ago didn't actually reflect on the scoreboard as a victory. But in saying that, this one, they won't take that off you.
Yeah, definitely a lot happier. Yeah, can't take this one off me. It's, really wasn't expecting the Beamer to be as good as it was. It was fairly comfortable in that second race, and managed to just get up behind Tom here and save a bit of fuel and jump him in the stop.
Talk to me about, two different types of GT3 racing, one being, multi-manufacturers and slightly different GT3 race cars. And then there's the love-hate ongoing relationship of the Porsche, which you're growing to loathe even more by the day. What's so different between Monday and Thursday for you?
Downforce, ABS, traction control, all of the above.
Okay. So we're just going back to creature comforts.
I've actually done a fair bit of practice this week in the 992. I've sort of done a fair amount of laps around Silverstone. I found it fairly nice, despite the poor result in hindsight from where I was on Thursday night. But yes, I don't know. It's just I think maybe just at times I tend to overdrive the Porsche Cup car, and just it bites me in the backside, unfortunately. Whereas the GT3s are obviously a little bit more forgiving with the aids, the traction control, the ABS, so you can sort of push it that bit harder without fear of consequence, and just try and hit the marks.
So once the driver gets his head around those differences and gets comfortable with them, we're looking forward to seeing good results on the Porsche front. In saying that, must have been nice to get one up on the competition tonight, mate. As I said, there's nothing I've already said that you haven't already heard with regards to how challenging a night that was at the office on this circuit. Must have been nice to be able to prevail. You sat in there behind Tom Bidgood and let him drag you along, and then pipped him in pit lane.
Yeah, it was never going to be a question of trying to make the pass. It's like everyone before me said, it's extremely risky to make a move, and you just got to work on strategy. And it's unfortunately this track's just not conducive to, I guess, good racing for these cars. I think you mentioned it definitely wasn't designed with GTs in mind. But you just sort of settled into that comfortable rhythm, and just pick your moment. And fortunately I was able to just pip Tom here and come out with a little bit of a gap, because I was also running low on incident points. So I was hoping I was coming out fair enough in front, because if we were going to contact towards the end, that would have been the end of my race.
That's true. I think we also noted Adam showed us a replay in pit lane of you making your way into the lane and just being able to gain that extra car length or two on Tom on your way to the control line. So that might have made all the difference in the end as well. But you controlled the race very nicely after that. They were starting to try and reel you in, but with a couple of laps to go, it became very clear that was going to become a very difficult task, unless, of course, you cocked it up, as they say in the classics, which you didn't do tonight. You and the Bimmer, it seems to be a comfy pair of jeans, a good fit at the moment.
yeah, it's hard to go away from the Beamer. I know I mentioned a couple of weeks ago at Charlotte that we'd probably see what cars suited the track in the officials and what was the OP car per se, and it definitely wasn't the Beamer in the officials, but yeah, just couldn't really go past. Hadn't done any practice at all in anything, just due to some work commitments during the week. So yeah, just jumped back into what I know, and stuck with the comfortable option. But yeah, across the race, it was slightly weird. It sort of come alive on certain laps, and then it went away, and so the gap was sort of coming and going, and I think it's just as a result of maybe Tom making a little bit of a mistake with a couple of laps to go, and yeah, that was the end of it. Sort of just cruised home from there.
Indeed. Let's look ahead. Let's talk about the fact that as far as the championship's concerned, that's a night that really does you a lot of good. There's a lot of people tonight that'll be looking at that as a drop round. Not you. That's going to go, very close to one of the best rounds, if not the best round so far this season. How do you use the next 7 weeks to continue building towards something potentially special at the end of the campaign, starting next week when we get to Road Atlanta?
Yeah, well, I missed last week, so that's already scratched as a drop round, and
at least it's only a 0.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Looking at the calendar, I might actually miss maybe Bathurst. I'm not 100% sure yet. Which is that's one of my stronger tracks. So hopefully I can work around that. Road Atlanta, should be good. It tends to favour the front engine cars, the Merc and the BMW. So yeah, hopefully we're up towards the pointy end, and it's like you said, it's a bit more in Denchi's wheelhouse with the 60 minutes. So no doubt, it's just probably a case of racing for second next week, and he'll go off in the distance.
Yeah. Racing for second, a term that's thrown around quite regularly here on a Monday night because of the presence of one dent in recent times, and everybody seems okay with that. No, well done, mate. Congratulations. Looking forward to the BMW v BMW Duke out between you and Denchi at Road Atlanta next week. I think we've often said the straight line poke of the BMW is worth watching, and there's plenty of wide open, foot to the floor, 100% throttle opportunities around that circuit. Porsche, Thursday night. Initial thoughts?
Not the biggest fan of Sonoma, but we'll tuck into some practice laps probably tomorrow, and some on Wednesday, and then we'll just have to see how we go. It's just a very windy, lot of direction change, and a few bumps. So not sure how the Porsche is gonna cope with that, but we'll just have to try and get as many laps in as we can, and not sure if it's I think it might be a sprint round, so
it is. Maybe, so two bites at the cherry.
Yeah, maybe just cash in like we have tonight.
Yeah, very nice. Judging by the tone of the language there from 90 with regards to not being a fan of the amount of direction change, maybe there'll be a petition in the suggestion box at the end of the season from one J Knight to maybe take us to Daytona or Talladega for our American round of the Porsche Cup next season. I'm not sure. We'll wait and see. Now, speaking of direction changes, let's shift gears. Will we see you? I won't be there personally. Commitments up here keep me away, but will we see you on the grid in Lithgow this weekend?
Nah, unfortunately not. Just other commitments from Dan and Russ, or Russ mainly. We haven't been able to enter this week, but we should be looking good for round 2 in Canberra on the I think it's the 11th or the 10th of March. So looking get back into the trusty Birrell, and yeah, see what we can do from the rear of the grid there.
All right, very nicely done. And for anyone that's not aware of what the hell I'm talking about, the Four Straight Karting Association in New South Wales are making their way to Lithgow this Sunday for the first round of their championship, the Combined Districts Kart Club, the venue, and looking forward to hearing back on how it all plays out down there. I've already had the head honchos there, the two Russell boys, getting in contact with me, asking me when the hell I'm going to be back on social media and comm duties for them. We're comparing calendars and diaries as we speak, but hoping to be back for the, if not before, hopefully the championship finale in Newcastle at the end of the year, because it's, I believe it's the week after the Postie Bike Grand Prix in Cessnock. So it'll tie in nicely with an extended stay down home, and I may still be going to the Coldplay concert on the following Wednesday night with the TCR Australia category manager, but that one's subject to confirmation at this point in time. So we'll wait and see. There could be, and that's going to be a very busy couple of weeks, because I've recently taken on work with the Production Sports Car Racing Association of Queensland and their championship finales, the 8th, 9th and 10th. So straight from Coldplay on the 6th, up the highway, up to Morgan Park in Warwick. Nighty, thank you. Appreciate that. And well done. And we look forward to seeing you Thursday.
Yeah, catch you Thursday. And if you, I don't know if you're there, but I'll catch you next week.
I'm not here Thursday, but I will be here next Monday. So, unfortunately, this Thursday I'm attending a funeral, and the club's put plans in place for me not to get back on time for the start of the broadcast. And given that it's going to be one hell of a send-off, and I know the people who are attending and what the wake might be like, I'm not expecting an early departure back to Brisbane or back to Ipswich either, because I've got to go to Redcliffe for it, and any chance I can travel on Brisbane roads and not contend with traffic, I'll take. So yes, that's what's unfolded so far tonight, so far this week, and what's ahead as well. There he is, Jared Knight. Well done. And just to extend on Knighty's point, I was talking about the karting. For those of you that didn't hear, I'm off to Griffith next month for the Riverina Cup. I'm off to Wagga for the State Championship Sprint Karting in April, and also Manning Valley for the second round of the States in October as well. So there'll be a couple of occasions where you don't see me on a Thursday night or a Monday night this season on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. But I am lucky that one of those ties in nicely with school holidays, long weekends and other things, so I can also see the family and run at my own pace, which is good. And there might be one that falls in nicely with a term break here on the platforms of the GSRC as well, but I'm not sure. Let's plug the sponsors before we rock and roll out of here. Thank the people that make it possible for us to do what we do each and every Monday and Thursday night on the platforms of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. They include Waste Options, the GT3 naming right sponsor. Also, of course, the great people at Sprayton Cider, who sponsor Thursday Night Motorsport. Player One Sim Gear, they're very happy with the product of Super 2 and Super 3 at the moment, no doubt about that. And, of course, Leipzig Racing, the up-and-comers. M-Wave, Australia. And, of course, our good friends at Flash Graphics. Let's have a look at what's coming your way on the platforms of the GSRC. Plenty ahead in week 3 of term 1 for 2024. There's no doubt about that. Tomorrow night, the Leipzig Racing up-and-comers from Silverstone in the Formula 4s. That's 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time, 3-race super sprint format, standard procedure there. Donington Park, 9:15 Eastern for the 35-minute race for round 3 of the GT1 Civil War. Wednesday night, not broadcast at the moment. If that changes, we'll let you know. But we're looking forward to it immensely. Have a look at that. Great lineup. Brands Hatch, I believe, is the Grand Prix circuit for GSRC GT4. That's 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's 2 sprint races. Before it, 2 sprint races for the GR86 Toyotas. And that's from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. Now, recently, of course, iRacing have updated the road course to reflect how it currently looks in 2024 with IndyCar and the like. So, well worth sinking your teeth into that. Thursday night, Formula V, Brands Hatch, 3 sprint races there, straight inside of Thursday Night Motorsport. It's 5 races on the program too, with 2 races for the Porsches from the Sonoma Raceway Cup Historic Circuit, the short shoot in action, not the carousel. And Friday night, the Japanese Super Formula cars headline our open wheel offering, the Wings and Slicks from the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya. And that's going to be an absolute beauty. 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time, 2 sprint races there. Mountain then on Saturday, the Toyota Rally 6s again, this time in 32-lap endurance format mode. Long form. 200 kilometres around Mount Panorama Saturday night. Looking forward to that. Well, 16 laps is, about, what are we talking here? It's not quite 200, and I know that. I should know this by now. 32 by 6.213, 198.816. Okay, benefit of the doubt, you're closer to 200 than 195. 8:30 Eastern Time for that. Sunday, on the subject of the supercars, how's that looking for a recipe, ladies and gentlemen? The supercars around the Daytona International Speedway. If you like your oval racing and you like your big ones, your shunts and prangs and crashes, that is, Daytona's the venue Sunday night. Hour plus racing there. And that's the new offering from Pete Matson with the Australasian Supercar E-Series boys having a season or two off. So that's now under the GSRC banner, the Supercar Oval Series. Contact Pete for more info with regards to how to get in amongst the fun and join in the fun of the fair there. Next Monday night, I'm back on deck. Oran Park, the venue. Player 1 Sim Gear Super 2 from Oran Park, 7:50 Eastern Daylight Time, followed by the GT3 series from Road Atlanta. And it says 2 sprint races, Adam Lavis, but my rundown says 60 minutes. So what is that right? Or is it 60 minutes at Road Atlanta next Monday night? I'm just trying to confirm. Copy that. 60 minutes at Road Atlanta next Monday night. Good. I wrote that down correctly. My eyes aren't deceiving me. So a 1 hour rip around one of the great racetracks in Atlanta, Georgia. That will be well worth the price of admission, because we know that Road Atlanta never ceases to amaze us. It always produces entertaining, cracking racing, and next week will be no exception. It never fails to deliver. That's it. We're done. Monday Night Motorsport over and out. Done and dusted. Thanks so much for being coming along for the ride. As we go out, reminder, gsrcmerch.myshopify.com or merch.tgsrci.com. Not too late to snag a gift for a loved one for Valentine's Day, ladies and gentlemen. How romantic would that be? A GSRC bottle opener, for Christ's sake. But yes, stubby holders, shirts, hoodies, you name it. The merch store has it. I'll be interested to see what the new offering is from the club later on in the season, if there is one. But yes, not too late to show your support, show your love for the club and get amongst it there. Quick update to the GSRC 2024 endurance calendar. It's 11 events, not 12. No Mount Panorama on there now because that's been bumped. So it'll get underway on the 10th of March at the Watkins Glen International Circuit. Then on to Suzuka on the same day as the Japanese Formula 1 Grand Prix at the same venue, I might add. Then Laguna Seca Le Mans and also Motorsport Le Mans. That date is the same weekend as the famed 24 hours. So we're lining up with some big events there. Spa, I think Formula 1 might be at the same venue on the same weekend. Fuji in August, Mugello in September on Father's Day, no less. Then the Nordschleife in October. We're on the same weekend as the Gold Coast 500. What's left of it. And of course, MotoGP the week before. Then on to the Red Bull Ring, then on to Road America to finish things off on the 8th of December. So a big calendar with an awesome array of circuits offered up for the championship and those that want to contest it or, pop in and out, do a couple of rounds here and there throughout the course of the season. Great array of circuits for the Sunday offering here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. And if you're half lucky, it'll be Enduro by day, sprint race by night with the Oval Series for the supercars as well. So that'll be good. We're just about done. Adam Lavis, thank you to you. Thank you to everybody else at home as well. Good night of motorsport here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. little bit hit miss in parts, but at least we saw a couple of new race winners on the honour roll. There's a couple of AM drivers in strife. I reckon they might be in the pro split before too long if they keep that up. But no, great racing, real competitive at the top end of the tree in both servers at the moment. We look forward to checking in with the AM splits competitors more regularly throughout the course of the rest of the season. Of course, we're back to 60-minute racing next week on behalf of the entire crew here and the sponsors that make it possible for us to do what we do. I'm Zach Caban, bidding you a very good evening. Thanks for coming along for the ride. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Well done to all our race winners and podium finishers. And I'll tell you what, there'll be a few and amongst us having a stiff drink after that one to forget the night that was, because there were a few people that had an absolute shocker. We look forward to your company on Thursday night. Daniel and Liam will be with you there. Adam and I back next Monday night as Term 1 of Season 16 of 2024 continues on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Night 1 of Week 3 is done. That's the way we do it. Thanks for coming along for the ride. We'll see you on Thursday. Until then, have a great evening, everybody. Bye for now.